I'm trying to find here. Indignant Desert.
Created this scope.
Boom! Bienvenidos a Los Indignant Desert Birds.
Okay, we went Spanish now. Happy post-election day. Welcome to Indignant Desert Birds. Translation.
That's right. I'm extremely ripped on today. I am sipping on liberal tears. Hold on, it's a sip.
Oh my gosh.
Ah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm playing it up, but I was sweating bullets. They were like, are you gonna? No, it was funny because we were all like, don't go to sleep. Don't go to sleep.
Yeah,
Whatever
that was
you do,
so funny.
don't close your eyes.
Keep
praying.
Keep
Get ready
praying,
to
keep
go to-
praying, and keep your eyes open because they're about to
Keep your
bring
eyes
more
open.
trucks with
Yeah.
empty ballots.
Yep.
We gotta watch these suckers. That
Watch
is so
those
funny.
suckers.
Because it was a very exciting night. You have to admit it was an exciting election because, I mean, as JD Vance, now Vice President-elect
Vice
JD Vance,
President.
has stated, this is the biggest comeback in the American history of presidential races in government. And it very likely is. I mean, someone who might be a historian, tell us in the comments if that's not true, but it seems like you can't have a better comeback story than this. So it's kind of an exciting time, even if you're not for Trump. I mean, it's exciting to see this.
Yeah, I mean,
some, like you said, liberal tears. Maybe some people aren't excited so much as devastated. We are not devastated here at Indignant Desert Birds, not at all. You know, we cast our vote for President-elect Donald Trump. Kamala Harris had so many flaws, and most importantly, for her to say that comment, to me, that was a deal breaker. I'm a little disappointed, Fletcher, by how apparently few Black women went against her. Now, I was seeing a lot of Black women in the media saying they were breaking away from the plantation and they were going for Trump. I think it happened in some areas because, for example, Chicago almost went red. And there's a lot of Black people there.
Let's look at some. We'll look
at that. But like you said, it was too big to rig. Honestly, that's what the theme was, too big to rig. We have doubts about some of the integrity of these elections and what happened in 2020. But
we're just gonna, it's good because we got Ding last time on the YouTube. So
I forgot.
Make sure you check out that show on Parler. I mean on the Green Machine, because the Green Machine was like, yeah, man, we'll take your lowly, and we'll take what is
right. So you have a refuge on Rumble because the place where we mostly host, that begins with a Y and has the word tube afterward, doesn't like you to say certain things. We have to get more clever about it, Fletcher. But the thing is, it was fun. You were right to stay up. Yeah, it was fun to stay up all night and like kind of watch and see these returns come back and see people kind of starting to lose their hope who were for the other side. And again, like you said, people were saying funny things like, I'm staying up all night, I'm gonna watch. Because do you remember at one point they did say there was a big truck that was coming to Philadelphia that
Oh
had
yeah, there was a bunch of
uncounted
stuff going
ballots?
on. Yeah, and it was like they were trying to close the. They were telling people not to vote. They were trying. Oh man, which I feel like it's now I'm all sensitive to like what they're gonna because you're like you can't even say nothing. You know what I mean? But yeah, they had a lot of shenanigans going on. I would say that. I'm sure we
There
can
were
say that, right?
shenanigans. There were
There was
shenanigans.
shenanigans.
But it was it
Shenanigans
was it,
abounded, but
but
they
there
did
wasn't
have
it
law
wasn't
and
big
order
enough.
also.
And that was the goal. A lot of people, I mean, a lot of people came out to vote, and they did it early because they were just fed up. And I think that is true. It was too big to rig. We do have to fix our elections, though. It shouldn't be that people worry that their votes don't count. Like we talked about last time with the Chinese national who voted in an election, and it was determined he was not actually a citizen.
Right.
And if there's one of them, there's many. If you find one, that is there's many of them.
Right.
That's just the one you found. So I think that has to be fixed.
Right.
Right. So you're showing us some cool pictures. Let's see them,
No,
Fletch.
I had the one that was like too big to rig. That's the meme. But let's do you wanna we'll play a
Too
little
big to
bit of
rig.
our president's now speech.
Okay.
And then we'll get to Miss Harris speech, and
Okay. The
then we'll go
concession
from the
speech,
yeah.
which she didn't give the night before, but okay.
Right.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends on this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country and maybe beyond.
I mean, we agree, right?
And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And
we're going to do everything. We're going to say things. It's going to be the best.
It's a good speech. I mean, honestly, good morning to everybody, especially Lady Jen joining us. I want to say that, you know what, the night before the election was one of the most electrifying and riveting nights. Like Fletcher, I was telling you, I don't know if you remember, I was telling you, I tried to remain mostly neutral throughout this election cycle. I wanted to have, as a registered independent, I really tried to live that out, and I didn't want to make up my mind too soon. So I wanted to give benefit of the doubt to everyone, including third-party candidates, everybody. And, like I said, Kamala didn't really have much of a policy plan message and has a terrible bunch of skeletons in her closet, how she was as an attorney, as a prosecutor in the West Coast, and some of her record, especially on deleting children, just terrible. But, still she could be making a new leaf or whatever. That comment at the rally was it for me. Her rallies, when someone says Jesus is Lord and you're like, you're at the wrong rally, you just told me don't vote for you. That I can't abide. But you know what? The rally the night before, I think President elect Trump now really, really made his case. If you were on the fence, I mean, the energy of that last rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan, when he just had this indefatigable energy. He'd been at like the fourth rally of that day. I think Kamala did one that day, if
thousands of rallies or something.
I mean, totally. He did like 900 rallies, I think, this election cycle, 900 rallies. And this is, almost an 80-year-old man. But that last rally and I knew it was bittersweet for him because it's the last rally he'll ever do. It was the last rally of the election cycle. It was the night before the election. Right. Actually, it wasn't even the night before. It was by the time he finished, it was 2 a.m. So it was the day of the election.
Right.
And I think he took the stage near midnight and spoke for 2 hours without notes, without a teleprompter. Okay, just standing up there talking and making sense. No word salads. And just really a lot of energy, a lot of love. In fact, at one point he says you could feel the love in this room. The energy was really good. And he gave so much hope. Who doesn't want hope? Who doesn't want the idea that like we can do this better? We can be better. I mean, MAGA has now become, I'm so disappointed too, because I don't know if you know, Fletcher, I do these little games and so forth on my
Yeah.
phone, mostly like cooking games and um games for like, fashion. I mean, I shouldn't even admit this on live air, but
That's all right.
one of the things you have to do for these games is to get extra points. You have to sometimes vote on other people's designs. Like I have like these games where you design interior design or like do fashion, which outfit is better, because it's fun to do it, but also because then you'll get like some points that you can use to make your own designs and things of that nature, right? So I like someone's design, and then after you like the design, then it'll show you who the designer was, because they're anonymous, so that you don't just pick who you like, your favorite, apart from what they put out there. And it says something like MAGAs are fascists, something like MAGAs are a fascist cult. That's it. And I'm like, I wish I knew that and I would not have selected your design. But that's so sad that you have that attitude about your fellow citizens. Everybody in it, I mean, certainly some might be, but it's a larger group of people who literally might be taking the words for what they are. It's like people are taking the word MAGA and it must mean something other than make America great again. They're triggered by that. I don't know why. Are you saying it's completely great now? We are great, but we could be more great. That's kind of what the idea is. It's not a fascist cult. It's a lot of people who really want more and want to do better. And I think that last rally, that consolidated it. I encourage anyone to get on, whatever source you have. Maybe find Right Side. I think it's called Right Side Broadcasting Network, RSBN, I think.
Yeah.
And see, because they don't add their commentary and they don't interrupt it with a lot of ads or anything. And just look at when Trump takes the stage on that very last rally he will ever do as the star of the rally, because he can't run for president again. And that was the end of the race there. And just see if you agree with me that he did present an image with a real plan that made it seem like maybe things would turn around for a lot of us.
No, it's insane, the energy that he had. I mean, just the energy in the room right now.
We made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
That's true. I mean, people are saying that unprecedented at this time.
But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before. Nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve.
Let's
This
go.
will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again.
Oh.
Uh-oh, triggered.
In addition to having won the battleground states of
fascist cult.
North Carolina, I love these places. Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin.
No.
We are now winning in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska, which would result in us carrying at least 315 electoral votes. But it's much easier doing what the networks did or whoever called it, because there was no other path. There was no other path to victory. We also have won the popular vote. That was great. Very proud of that.
Fascist cult. Fascist cult.
Fascist cult. That everybody's in.
Fascist cult that everybody's in.
Thank you.
That more than half the country has elected. There's chanting
Thank you very
USA.
much.
That's the
Thank
same
you.
thing as what Yahtzees
Winning the
do.
popular vote was very nice.
Right?
Very nice. I will tell you. It's a great feeling of love. We have a great feeling of love in this very large room.
I love that he says
With
that.
unbelievable
Right.
people standing by my side. These people have been incredible. They've made the journey with me, and we're going to make you very happy. We're going to make you very proud of your vote. I hope that you're going to be looking back someday and say that was one of the truly important moments of my life when I voted for this group of people beyond the president, this group of great people. America has given us an
They don't even want to let him
unprecedented
talk.
and powerful mandate. We have taken back control of the Senate. Wow, that's good. And the Senate races in Montana, Nevada, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We're all won
The great
by
Commonwealth of
the
Pennsylvania.
MAGA movement. They helped so much.
It's a cult.
And in those cases,
The cult.
every one of them, we worked with the senators. They were tough
Cult.
races. And I mean, the number of victories in the Senate was absolutely incredible. And we did tele-rallies. We did tele-rallies with each one of them. And sometimes we did 2 or 3 and it was amazing to look at all of those victories. Nobody expected that, nobody. So I just wanted to thank you very much for that. And you have some great senators and some great new senators. And it also looks like we'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives.
I mean, it's crazy. It does look like a big red wave just amassed the whole country.
Mike Johnson, I think he's
Yeah.
doing a terrific job. Terrific job. I want to also thank my beautiful wife, Melania, First Lady.
Look at Barron. He's huge.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he
Who
towers
is the
over
number
it.
one best-selling
For
book in the
everyone.
country. Can you believe that?
Oh, I thought they hated each other.
No, she's done a great job. Works very hard to help people. So I just want to thank her. But I want to thank my whole family, my amazing children, and they are amazing children. Now, we all think our children are amazing. Everybody here thinks their children are amazing. But
Yeah.
that's a good thing when you think they are. But Don, Eric, Ivanka, Tiffany, Barron, there's Laura, Jared, Kimberly, Michael, thank you all. What a help. What a great.
It's funny. It just keeps going.
It's so funny.
But
I
even
want
like
to,
the iconography, just like the flags in the background, it's like
yeah, I mean, you
so-
definitely see the difference here versus like, Kamala's side. I wanted to acknowledge what Lady Jen has said too about
Oh,
first
hold
of all, Kamala kind of fell out of her favor when she approved being endorsed by Dick Cheney. Can we say his name on here? Because the Democrats kept referring to Trump as the Bavarian mustache guy over and over again, when
Right?
Cheney acted more like the Bavarian mustached guy, whose name we
Right?
shouldn't say on here. I love that. It's true. The meltdowns are insane over Trump winning again, and the paranoia is rich. I think we're going to talk about some of that, Fletch. And yes, their behavior is the outcome. It's true. It's sort of like the people who, I'm not saying everybody who didn't vote for Trump is some kind of, crazy person or wrong. But for the base of that side, it seems that they are the participation trophy people. It's like you can't accept what your neighbors think, what other people think. You just think like, I'm going to have a temper tantrum if I don't get my way. And on a highly unprofessional level too. I mean, you're showing this thing with Sunny Hostin. This is a great example of what Lady Jen is talking about. Do you want to take us into it,
So
Fletcher?
this is the View. Co-host Sunny
Oh my
Hostin directs
gosh.
their post-election rage at white people on President-elect Donald Trump victor on Tuesday, bringing out the absolute worst in every left-wing media personality. Oh my gosh, I'll play the Jimmy Kimmel later. And just hours after the call, with many eager to see how the shrill panel at the View would react to second Trump turn, co-host Sunny did not disappoint in giving viewers a stupid racist take when looking for a reason that Vice President Kamala Harris lost. Rather than admitting Harris many faults during her campaign, she took to blaming the defeat on certain people of a certain race. Now,
can you believe this mess? Go on.
Let's see.
See if you can play it.
Into the demographics, because Black women tried to save this country. Again, last night, 92% of Black women voted for the vice president. You have Latinas in the 70 percentile.
I love how she puts a little twang into it, right?
She can't just say Latinas. She's got to be like Latinas.
Las Latinas
we got to prove, we got to show that, you know, hablo español.
Voy a mostrar que yo también como sofrito.
Ajá.
Right?
Como sofrito.
Voting for the vice president.
Glenn.
What we did not have is white women who voted about 52%, right, for Donald Trump. Uneducated white women is my.
You gotta kid. You're kidding me, right? Okay, you know what? Let's qualify that, Miss Sunny. What do you call education? You mean unindoctrinated white women? Oh, because you're saying uneducated. Okay, so I like how they throw around this word uneducated. You mean not college educated. Education is not solely in just the walls of the institution of a university. You can become educated by reading, by talking to people, by thinking, by meditating, by, you know, associating with others who don't think like you do, by joining part of your community. So your little slur, uneducated white women voted for Trump. I mean, it's not really necessary to put it that way. You could have said maybe not college educated, but she didn't want to say it that way. She wanted to make it seem like
no, right. Stupid. It's like it's
they're just
college.
Stupid. They're not, you know, you know. And notice she only did that with white women. She didn't say that for the Black, you know, men. You know,
no,
did not vote. Okay, let her fake cook. Let her fake cook.
Fake cook.
Fake cook.
Understanding. You have Latino men.
Nosotros tenemos toda la culpa. You have Latino men who did not.
Well, you have to say it in English. You just said, for those who are listening, Fletcher just said, "Oh, we have all the fault. We let Latino men have, you know, are to blame completely." Of course,
it's all our fault.
Actually voting more for him, and you have and Black men was not the story. We're not the story here because they voted almost 80% for the vice president.
Right.
So
what about the 20?
I know she's really trying to downplay that, and I'm wondering if it was closer to 25%, Fletcher. That's actually really huge. That's a seismic shift. That's not to be played with. I mean, honestly, Democrats need to be concerned about that, because you have 20 to 25% of Black men who decided to break from their parents, grandparents, great-grandparents who voted Democrat for generations, and then said, I'm voting for who's considered the most divisive, racist, you know, criminal, you know, basically like the Bavarian German guy with the mustache. And they're like, yeah, that's it. We're done. Are you serious? That's crazy. That's a big deal. We're not talking 2%, which already would be statistically significant. We're talking about 20 to 25%. They said in Atlanta, Georgia, which is known as a Black Mecca, Black men voted for Donald Trump we're talking 25% solid.
Yeah, and then let's not forget the Dearborn, Michigan, and all those places where basically some people are like, okay, some people would consider some Black, other people consider themselves Muslim, right? And they won't write Black on there that are Black. How many like people that are from the West Indies? Sometimes they don't write black in there. That's the other, because if you look at those panels where it's like 50 something percent of the other, because I can't put black, I can't put white, I can't put Latino. I have to put the other all the time.
Right. That's true.
And
that's true.
Like the majority of my family is on the other. So we're not even in the Latino category. We're in the other category. And that other category was like 50 something percent that she's not acknowledging.
And you know what? I wonder about this as well, because Fletcher, I think that obviously ballots are secret. They are anonymous. Right. They're not finding out that Black men voted 25% or 20 to 25% for Donald Trump because they looked at their ballots. They're probably looking at exit surveys. And guess what? I don't know how many Black men are going to tell you, especially after Obama lectures them that they're doing the wrong thing by not supporting, Kamala, that's who they voted for. You may not, if I'm not sure what measures or what kind of, epistemological surveys they did to find out who did what or how they get this knowledge. But if it is based on self-reporting, I think it's a lot higher.
Oh, yeah, definitely. If this is all self-reported, her numbers are way off.
Yeah. Why do you think that uneducated white women voted against their reproductive health freedoms?
Fletcher, why do you laugh at that? You're not supposed to laugh at that.
Yeah, because people can't buy groceries.
You're not supposed to laugh at that.
On the line, these people are they live in their little bubbles, and they don't understand that people can't afford groceries. And you just had like big devastating floods and tornadoes and hurricanes, and people don't have houses and can't afford gas, and they're worried about like in the ether, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm worried that my grandkid can't kill my daughter can't kill my grandkid or something like that. And it's like, dude, you won't have a grandkid if you can't feed them.
And why do you think Latino men voted in favor of someone that's going to deport, says he's going to deport the majority?
So this is another thing. This is the most I've heard this from so many liberals already, and I guarantee you that whoever wrote this for her is probably like, I'm sorry, it's probably like white or something like that, because it's like she's the one that has to say this. That
Are you serious?
And I heard this. I don't know. All I'm saying is that online, I mean, there's people. I got receipts. I got receipts online. All these people are blaming Latinos like it's all our fault. Like Latinos. That's all I heard. It's like Marsha. Latinos. You guys you're voting for people who want to deport you. How are you gonna deport me, chick? I'm a citizen. I went to the program. Why do you assume that I'm not you're basically doing what people said that's what the racist people do.
And just think about that. That lets you know they think illegals are voting, because guess what? You said you voted for being deported. How the heck did you vote if you're not a citizen? Well, and citizens can't be devoted. It's like the brain cancer is rich with these people. The lack of thinking. Insane. Because anybody voting should be a United States citizen. A United States citizen cannot be deported. So what do you mean that you're voting for your own deportation? You're so stupid. Unless you're illegal, and you shouldn't be voting. They're acknowledging it.
Yeah.
And I think David Glenn is right. They do keep a dirty house. I think those ladies do. I think they do. You can tell.
That is a proper insult.
That's a proper insult.
That's like one of the, what do they call those? Like Southern insults where they're like insult. Said like, bless your heart, you know?
That's a Southern insult right there. Yeah.
It's like, I bet they keep a dirty house.
That's the View all day. These are women that are not good role models. Yes.
All the uneducated white women. I think the economy matters, national security matters.
That's just
bullshit. But when you put people in these boxes, I think that's a takeaway from this race.
We have to look at the demographics of it.
So the one lady is like, well, I think when you put people in boxes, totally ignore that. Let's not think on that. We don't want to think that we're putting people in boxes, but no, this is what they want to do. I mean, they're just putting people in boxes on there, and that just seems like that's what they want to do. You know what I mean? I mean, you already had people calling us all kinds of stuff.
They're totally putting us in boxes. And we're going to come to Lady Jen's comment too about people saying so much. You're voting against your own best interest. The insanity of that. Because we don't consider the single issue of being able to delete your babies at will should dictate. And even though that alone is a red herring, because Donald Trump didn't say anything about changing what states will do individually. Everyone can delete their baby if they want to, almost to the very end, if not all the way to the very end. You just maybe have to leave your state to do it. There's nothing, come on. That's your only issue, but most people are concerned about other things, Fletcher.
No, I mean, what you're talking about.
They're not voting against their own interest. They're voting in their interest. You mean we're voting against what you think is in our best interest. That's what it is.
No, totally. Because you're basically saying this is your one and only thing. And how about other things? How about surrounding other things? What do you say to the person who can't have children? What's your policy for that? What do you say to the people who have a ton of children and are done having children? What else you got? What else you got?
What else you got?
What do you say to the person who's single and it has to go to work, but gas is expensive, and the buses keep breaking down and people keep looting and stealing. I mean, what do you guys? What happened? What are you gonna say to the person who had a business and it was looted and destroyed and the insurance won't pay? How about the people in the Carolinas? I saw a video the other day of a person who lost their whole business and their home was destroyed, and FEMA won't do anything. They won't even return their calls, and the insurance says they're not paying. So that person, I didn't see them on the ground doing anything. I didn't see them saying, we got solutions to all these problems. Right. But but you're voting against your own interest. Your interest is to stay. If your interest are living in a free America where you're not going to get the door beaten down to take away your pets because you went to church or because you decided you're going to say something online, that it's controversial or against the status quo, the jackboots are not going to come and take your kids or take your house, and take you to jail. That is my best interest. We voted for our best interest. That's what they don't get.
Yeah, that's the irony. People have not been voting for their best interests and maybe finally are.
No, it's crazy. And I mean, this is man.
No, you gotta play this one guy. You know what? Talk about meltdowns. Come on. This guy, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So what we're playing now. Okay, so who we're playing now is Juan Williams. I don't know him that well.
He's a pundit, right?
He's a pundit. I guess he's on Fox right now. But he was losing it because, of what happened or what's happening. So I'll let you play, Fletcher.
You call it. I think that there is even recriminations now among Democrats as to Biden and whether Biden should have dropped out earlier or Biden should have stayed. Would a white male have done better? Obviously, Trump has defeated 2 women and now a black woman.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people were saying that.
I'm with Janet Jackson on this. She's not black, but that's not relevant. It doesn't matter. I mean, maybe she is. I don't think she is, but whatever. You can be what you want. That's kind of not the point.
I just feel that it's
not the point. He's one, like, you know what? He's one that definitely thinks that we have not voted so-called in our best interest because he says, oh, people say they're concerned about the price of eggs, like that matters. Are you serious? That matters.
That does matter.
Must be nice for you, Mr. Millionaire,
right?
Sitting on TV and assuming that people who don't vote, for Kamala must be racist, and we just want the bros. He says, like the bros, like this, the frat boys who all want Trump. There's a lot of hardworking people who honestly have trouble buying their groceries. And that's what I like about the last rally that Trump did too. He really focused on that. He said, and you could tell he's also an out of touch millionaire. Let's be real. Trump is not down with the people. He is trying to help the people, but it's not like he understands that message. I mean, he understands that message. It's not like he lives that message, right? But he was attentive to it, because although I'm sure he doesn't struggle with the cost of food, he said, everywhere I go, I keep hearing about groceries, groceries, groceries. He said that at his rally, and that late at midnight, night of the election, the morning of the election. And he says, I haven't heard that word in years. He goes, to me, that's an old fashioned word. It's like people use that word. Yeah, because that's what regular folks who work call our food, groceries.
Yeah.
Because we go once a week or once a month, depending on where you live and how far you're away from the store, and buy all the things we need. It's not like in these wealthy homes where, like, the maid goes off and buys stuff for you as needed or orders it in. We call them groceries. They're all our stuff we need in one. He said, you know what? I hear you. He goes, you're saying it's too high. You can't afford your groceries. He goes, I have to really deal with that. And then here this guy gets on TV and says, oh, who cares about the cost of food? Yeah, food matters. Food matters.
Right, because to you, like you said, as your maid, you give your maid an allowance or a card. You don't even probably know what it is. Your accountant is the one that takes care of it. And this, I mean, I love when people were saying, it's like, you see all the blue areas, those are the rich areas. You know what I mean? Those are the areas of the rich who give money to their maid, who want us to be illegal because they don't like us when we're citizens, because then we actually want to charge more for our work. But even like, people are like, oh, California, this is why you tell people, no state is irredeemable. I mean, you saw that with like Pennsylvania. But if you see look at even California, it's like that's huge pieces of red,
Yeah, that's true.
You have even like New Mexico, Arizona, it's like those things are huge. Those are huge, Washington, you know what I mean? None of these places are irredeemable. Keep fighting, but look at even Illinois. Right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Look at this. I mean, all this like Bastion. Look at even like upstate New York and all these places. I mean, it's not every place. This is a true America. If you see the true America is mostly red. Because they're not like this dude. This dude's like, oh, let's.
No, it's true.
What about this bro eggs?
Unbelievable. Yeah, a lot of people. Like, I love it. Lady Jen, for example, lives in the red southern part of California. A lot of people live in these areas where maybe they don't get their vote to count as much because they're in the sparsely populated part of their states. And the part that decides the president and other elections is in the more dense urban part. So it's not representative of the state, because many times the number of people outside of it outnumber the ones in the densely populated part. But, because of the way things are configured, you don't see that. But like, even you're right, even California had a lot of red.
Yeah.
People need more than just slogans about, opportunity economy, or I'm from the middle class, and always talking about deleting babies. And I like what Lady Jen says too. If we change the deleting babies to eugenics, would you be still so pro all of this stuff? Because the woman who championed all this, which we had said, actually, I think one of our early shows, Fletcher, was a raging racist. I mean, Margaret Sanger. I mean,
actual pro-Bavarian.
She was actually pro-Bavarian mustache. She really was. Yeah. She said that was her purpose. People try to rehabilitate her now and say, oh, no, her words are taken out of context. She's saying that's what people will say. Okay, that's so specious. Look at the number of things she said. This was not a side comment about, well, people might say this. She was obsessed with exterminating what she thought were inferior races. That's your champion, you guys. That's the one who started Planned Parenthood, just so you know.
We're going back.
And what does the Bible say? The fruit does not fall far from the tree. I know we're going back to Juan. Come back to Juan.
Let's go to Juan. I'm taking this Juan back. I think I'm going to call him John now.
We'll call him John.
So there's all of these questions. But to my mind, it seems to me incredible that a guy who led a insurrection against the United States government is potentially now, like a phoenix going back into the Oval Office. It's unbelievable.
Well, you have to consider the fact, Juan, that a lot of people didn't think that was an insurrection. They thought it was a riot, but not an insurrection. And had they thought there was really an insurrection, I don't think he could have won.
That's, you got to give it from my uncle. Give
it to him. Give it to him.
He's sitting there staring him down like, I don't know, Juan. I don't know what you're talking about. But I'm like, come on,
he's
Juan.
mad. He mad.
I don't know.
Exaggerations about that day.
Well, I'm not exaggerating.
About the alleged threat to democracy is a piece of what happened tonight.
Well, I don't think so. I think, again, I'm giving you my perspective.
And I'm giving you mine.
Right. So I listened to you as my friend. But I'm going to tell you what I saw was not only a riot in terms of the violence, but a direct action intended to stop certification of a presidential election.
Oh my gosh, this whole nothing burger. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
I heard so many people talking about there's 6 areas. It's like nobody cares, bro. Nobody cares. We're trying to stop World War III. Nobody cares about stupid January 6th.
Understood. And we've talked a lot about it.
That's why I said that.
And we've talked a lot about it. And the campaign,
very clearly. I'm not trying to hype anything.
The campaign ran a lot of ads about it, talked a lot about it, and more, half the country now, Juan is going to say, that is not what I care about. I care about my economy. I care about immigration.
No, see, that's where we differ. I'm not sold on this idea that, it was the cost of eggs.
Are you serious? I'm not sold on the. Can I just tell you?
I'm not sold. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I can't with this guy. I can't.
Hold up,
Fletcher.
Fletcher. Hold up. Now Fletcher. I got it. I got this one. Hold on.
All right.
I said, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
No, hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right, Fletcher. Fletcher.
Yes.
This man sitting on television with, I'm sure, many zeros in his account is telling people, I'm not sold on the idea that it's the cost of eggs. Are you kidding me? People really out here struggling, working double jobs, eating less, eating foods they don't even want to eat because they can't afford. Honestly, I stood at myself at the supermarket with a couple of women. We were at the supermarket, like several months ago, and we were looking at the cost of the meat. We were all looking, it might have been July, Fletcher, because I think it was pretty near the 4th of July when you all want to barbecue. Right. And I remember being there looking at the steaks and so forth. I think that was maybe one woman, maybe it was a guy. We're like just going back and forth with our eyes over it, like, dang, everything is pricey. Yeah, we remember you can buy a few of these things and have no problem. Now we're going to be very judicious and look and see.
You're standing there with the 2 packages in your hand.
Yes.
Going, this has more, but I like this.
Right. You're struggling and you're like, you want to celebrate. Exactly. And one guy was like, well, I'm just going to get some pork then. I want the steak, but I can't afford it. And you're up here eating, I know it's whatever you want, talking about, I'm not sold on the idea, because really you have no idea. You're so out of touch. Kamala went to that rally or that she was like a town hall, and there was you remember it was the Hispanic town hall.
Oh yeah.
Like Telemundo or something did it.
Yeah.
The woman stood up there and she said, you know what? My groceries. She said the same thing. Trump said, I keep hearing this word that I haven't really heard since I was a child, he said, because you don't go out shopping, Trump, but at least you listen, you care. And, Kamala's up there cackling. And this lady's trying to get her attention about how much it costs to buy the same food we used to buy. Yeah. She says I love it. Lady Jen says, one of our best fans says that we'd egg his house in the 80s and 90s, but the price of eggs are too high today. That is so funny. That is so true. We go egg Juan Williams' house, but we can't afford it.
We can't afford it.
We got to get some fake eggs. Because honestly, can you imagine, Fletcher? Yeah. Am I wrong to be outraged by his comment?
I've never heard struggle steaks.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, thick cut bologna. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. I never heard that either. We gotta use that, Fletcher. Struggle steaks.
That's a struggle steaks.
Struggle steaks. I never heard that. AKA thick cut bologna.
I know that's like the
Oh,
spam. You know, when you get the cut, you got to sear it real good. Yeah, it's not bad.
that is true. Struggle steaks. That's
Struggle
true.
steaks, man.
And these
That's
people
messed up.
up here,
Is the
oh,
cost of eggs.
it's some other
I
reason.
worry that it was.
Cost of
The
eggs.
cost of eggs.
Well, I'm
That
not
can't
voting
be
for this
it,
woman.
he says.
Or I'm not voting for this black
I
woman.
don't know. That's not what we see in our data.
Well, here's the thing. Where do you see that? Because
Yeah, your data doesn't. Your data sucks. That's what he wants to say.
a moment ago, Darren was out here and he said, in fact, not only did the bro strategy work, and the bro strategy largely worked along the lines of white men, but that the bro strategy also had some impact in terms of Latino and black men who came along and gave higher percentages.
All right, Carl, weigh in.
I just want to make.
You know what? And what's the
I
thing?
just wanna, you know what? He looks like somebody who needs to be punched in the face.
You know, we won't try to get poor Quan punched in the face, but it looks like he probably didn't get punched in the face enough.
He didn't get punched in the face enough. You're right. That's what happened.
And no, but I'm just saying the smugness saying like, what does he think men have in common? He thinks, okay, he says the bro culture, the bro. You know what men also have in common besides, like, he's thinking bro as in like frat boys, something like that. You know, most men, you know, they have a bro code means what? You want to protect your family, protect your church, protect your country, and provide for your family.
That's the bro culture. Come on. That's racist.
The
You don't know that?
Bro culture. You know?
That's racist, though. You don't know that?
I can't. Well, obviously, I'm getting deported, so I don't. You know, I'm like, I didn't know that you can.
This
deport
man is so
citizens.
petulant and so privileged. It's disgusting. He's up here talking about, you know, calling Latino men racist, basically, because aren't they part of this bro culture? How insane is that? So black men are also part of it, because, by the way, they voted in great number away from Kamala. Yeah. And that's not even the culture. I mean, blacks have been voting Democrat for centuries now. There's a whole history with that. There's a whole history with that. I think it started after Reconstruction. Blacks at one, people don't realize at one point blacks all used to be Republican. You can look at the history of that. It's very interesting. Maybe we'll cover it one day. And then I guess there was something that happened that changed all of that. I had seen a really good lecture about this. There's really interesting history, and then they kind of all voted all together all the time as Democrat, but that's changing now too, as you see. So what is he talking about?
Everybody's freaking out, and everybody's kind of doing the same thing. You know, the stars were out there. This is Jimmy Kimmel, who I don't know who watches this show. I don't know a single person who watches this show. I don't even know if they have ratings anymore. But people are like vibing with him. I guess people in the Interflex. But this is his monologue. Warning. This is supposed to be a funny late night show, and this is a monologue.
Let's be honest. It was a terrible night last night. It was a terrible night for women, for children, for the hundreds of thousands of hardworking immigrants who make this country go, for healthcare,
for healthcare, because Trump's going to get rid of your healthcare. This is the kind of insanity that passes for thinking among these people.
Yeah. No, and I love
I didn't know Trump's going to get rid of healthcare.
Trump's going to get rid of healthcare because Trump is going to take us all out. That's what you don't know. Yeah.
Okay, but it's just the opposite. You know, I mean, it was Obamacare that messed a lot of us up.
No. Why are you speaking facts here? Okay, ain't no facts here. This is just crying and gnashing of teeth. Gotcha. That's what this is. Yeah. Gotcha. Don't get crazy now.
I'm not going to be crazy.
Stay in your lane, person of color.
Okay.
For science, for journalism.
For science, for journalism. Didn't Elon Musk?
It's the opposite when it comes to that. It's the opposite. It's the opposite. Trump brings back journalism because these people have been lying and covering and completely abdicating their responsibilities to be ethical and fair and impartial and reporting the news where Trump is concerned. If anything, he brings back the idea of journalism because you have to show both sides. And you're right. It's because you're right. The crying is supposed to be how is that funny? This man's crying. That's not supposed to be a funny monologue.
How's that a funny monologue? That's the thing, and I don't understand. I mean,
he's tearing up for what?
This is supposed to be a isn't this supposed to be kind of like the funny
It is a
haha,
turn
you
off.
know, like
it is a turn off. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be funny.
For justice, for free speech.
It's insane.
For justice, for free speech. Free speech. You guys were just trying to cancel
the
everybody.
opposite of free
You got him out of Twitter. You kicked him out of Twitter. You bounded his free speech, but now and you're trying to bound other people's free speech, but he's the one that's come on.
It was a terrible night for poor people.
Poor people? Do you know any poor people?
He doesn't know a
middle
poor
class,
person.
For seniors who rely on Social Security, for our allies in Ukraine, for NATO.
Everybody
He's literally
with
crying
this
now.
thing.
He's
Yeah,
literally
it's like-
crying.
For the truth and democracy,
And they're supporting this.
decency.
They're
And it was a
applauding
terrible night
this.
for everyone who
Oh, yeah.
voted against him. And guess
Nonsense.
what? It was a bad night for everyone who voted for him too. You just don't realize it yet. And
Oh, shut up.
That's right. But this was like a whole thread on this idiot. You know what I mean? Like he's got like this whole thing to where like all these idiots are like agreeing with him. It's just insane. It's just insane. Like this idiot, I'm tearing up how bad this is. And under the comments, all there was like, yeah, man, that's true. I can't believe it.
But you know what? Can I just say this? I love it. Sir Glenn is like, yeah, I often break down crying when thinking about the future of NATO. Not.
Right?
Gonna put the not, Fletcher. Not. Listen, I'm of the old school where I turn in to watch you, Jimmy Kimmel, which I don't, for entertainment, not for your political punditry, not for any political insights you may claim to have. I don't think you have more knowledge than I do. I don't think you're more intelligent than I am. I don't think you're more invested in the future than I am. I really don't need to hear your opinion on, nighttime TV shows. You're paid to parrot, stuff that you're told. Where's your PhD in political philosophy, in political science? I don't think you have one.
What?
Where have you led in your community? I'd like to know what you have done that would make you qualified to tell me, oh, you have a bad night too because you voted for Trump. You just don't know it yet. Excuse me, Nostradamus, Harvard graduate, not.
Nostradamus.
Shut up. And I don't care. You know what? Laura Ingraham said it best, over 10 years ago? Shut up and sing. That's all you're here to do. The arrogance of these people, Fletcher, that you think you know better than we do.
Yeah.
When
you're
your
gonna
whole
live
job
our
is
lives.
to put on a suit, you could put a suit on and say some words that someone gave you to say. Give me a freaking break. Who are you?
Yeah.
And then they don't realize that every time they open their mouths and say that, they cast themselves further down. That's what they actually make this. They made this world. They made this world. He's a Disney employee trying to tell me for whom I should vote and what mistakes I made by not voting for his chosen candidate. Shut up.
No, yeah. Totally. It's like, yeah. I mean, it's crazy, but he wasn't the only one. I mean, all these people were like, Christina Applegate, which
I'm so disappointed with her. I like Christina Applegate. I like her. I don't know what happened to her. I thought she was a down-to-earth woman. She seems to have overcome a lot. And I thought she was not just another pretty face. But for her to write this nonsense, do you see what she wrote? You want to say it? You want me to say it, Fletcher?
Oh, no. So this is Christina Applegate on X. Why? Give me a reason why. My child is sobbing because her rights as a woman been taken away.
Because you have done the wrong thing. Listen. If you're telling me the word "my child," that makes me think the child you're referring to is in fact a child, and you are doing child abuse. If you're talking to a little child about how she might not be able to future delete her baby, because that's not in the realm of a child's mind. That's not appropriate for a child to be considering. And you should not be discussing situations that are outside of, they can't even vote yet. It's abusive for you to go and cry and lament something outside the understanding of your minor child because you're upset. That shouldn't be part of their conversation. Honestly, it's like you going on and telling them about your bills or the man who left you. That's not for them. That's not what they're here for. They're here for you to raise them and love them and help them, not be telling them about, why are you having her traumatized about something that she doesn't even understand at this age?
Right. And so what's the thing? You just want to, your
Grow
child, I
up.
think her child's like 13 or something like that.
It's still
And
too
it's
young.
like,
That's nothing to do with her.
so
She's 13 years old.
And people are like, how are you crying? How's she crying? Because you freaked her out. That's what she's
Right.
crying.
She's crying because you freaked her out.
She's
Exactly.
crying because you're a bad mother.
Because you're a bad mother. She's crying because you're a bad mother.
Your child.
You just showed us you're a bad mother. This is not within the realm of her understanding. Why are you even talking about this?
We were in like war zones sometimes as a kid, and my parents, all they try to do is confirm and be like, hey, no matter what, even though there's a bad situation outside or there's I've been to a few earthquakes and stuff like that, it's no matter what, I got you. We're going to get through this.
Exactly.
And we were like, I can make it through an earthquake, a tornado, a military coup. And my family was always, no matter what, together, we're going to ride this out and we're going to be okay. And I, as a child, was never like, what are we going to do? This new government is, and that's where actual people with guns were out there on the street. Right.
Wow.
And that's the government. And you're telling me you're freaked out because somehow the boogeyman that the TV said is, I mean, it's like, you know what? This is mad because this is Argentinian dude. And I'll translate it for you guys. And this is so true because all the endorsements that millions of billions of dollars cost to have all these people endorse Miss Harris, but it reads, a squirrel was more influent than Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift and Miley Cyrus combined. I mean, justice for Peanut and Fred. Don't forget Fred, guys.
We always forget Fred. Don't forget Fred. Don't forget Fred. Yeah, no, I think that's right because people right on the eve of the election, I think they were kind of in a sense, I'm speaking a little facetiously here, but hopefully not irreverently. I think they are kind of like martyrs because they were just on the eve of the election where people who really care about animals can see how these Democrats, these leftists rather, can be really, really maniacal and tyrannical. And we want government that doesn't take advantage of the people, that doesn't, my way or the highway. And I think some people maybe at the last minute thought about, voting for something different when they saw what happened to poor Peanut and poor Fred.
Yeah. No.
So I mean, good for them. Did you tell me that Peanut made an appearance?
Oh, yes.
What was that? What happened with that? The poor deceased Peanut made an appearance.
So that's what they said. So, to see this, Erwin from Galadriel from Lord of the Rings saying even the smallest persons can change the future.
little Peanut.
Little
Peanut. Fred. Aw.
Yeah.
So came and got them.
So basically, this is what happened. This was Harris's concession speech, which I guess we can go to after this. And
yeah, go ahead.
So check this out.
Okay.
So I'm going to put it in Fletcher. So right before the concession speech, and I think this was in Howard University.
Oh my
right?
gosh, that's too funny! You got to be kidding me, Fletcher.
You see it? You see I'm turning on the. You see it?
Are you serious? Did someone do that?
No. This is not the only view of it. There was another view. But if you see it right there.
I see the squirrel. I see the squirrel before this woman takes the stage. A squirrel ran across the stage while everyone was waiting for Kamala's concession speech. You are kidding me.
It's not foreshadow.
Peanut the squirrel. Is that a foreshadowing or what? Is that deep or what? Is God amazing or what? That's hilarious. That's awesome. Squirrel. That's right. It's your kind of government that takes away people's pets, like the little squirrel you killed. Wow.
Wow. Right?
Yeah, that's amazing. That's hilarious.
It's Peanut.
That's so funny.
Oh man, if they would have had a raccoon right after that.
And that's so funny. Yeah, he's the main thing for it. It's true what Jen says too. Honestly, politicians are not going to get rid of women's rights. They need women's votes also. It's kind of insane. I mean, what makes them think Trump would do that anyway? That's just so dumb. It's just a boogeyman because
How
they
many
don't
women
want.
does he have in his life? I mean, literally.
Come on, it's so dumb. It's so dumb.
It's just crazy.
I just love it, man. So Peanut came back to avenge. I love it.
Peanut, the revenge of Peanut.
He came back to avenge. Okay, let's hear her. Yeah. Okay, what did she say? I actually didn't get to hear this, so I'm looking forward. Okay.
And this is, of course, an abbreviated part.
Okay.
Feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it.
Oh, the laugh.
What is up with that?
I have no clue. That's a lot of people said that was a big turnoff.
Why did she laugh?
I don't know.
They said it was a turnoff, really?
Yeah. Why does she make that face? What is that? I mean, I'm not trying to be unkind. It's just, what is it? It's just, it's the tautness of it. A lot of people are saying this didn't feel like a real candidate.
But we must accept the results of this election.
That was big on her part. A lot of people said that, that she shouldn't have done it. And
really?
Yeah. Like, I think Eric Sitwell or something had called out for people to go out and protest. And they did in Chicago. Yeah. I have clips of it. We'll play it.
Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
Oh, gosh. Of course, that was
right.
loaded. That was loaded.
This whole thing was loaded. I watched the whole thing the other day and reacted to it. And there were so many loaded things on it, but at least whoever the speechwriter was, it was a pretty good one.
A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle,
so they're still trying to make the point.
Right.
Distinguishes.
Right. They're still like, we accept the results. Not like you people did, when they were
she can't help herself. It has to be some kind of nasty comment.
Yeah.
Or
where's
insinuation.
the 81 million, votes? Where'd they come from?
Democracy from monarchy or tyranny.
It was an election. So how do you have, and I love they keep going with everything is democracy, right? It's like it's not a democracy; it's a republic.
It's a constitutional republic. It's a constitutional republic. It's not mob rule, which a democracy is. We're not a democracy.
They keep saying it like they think it's gonna like magically happen,
And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it.
Like you didn't?
At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States.
Right. Right. To the Constitution of the United States that you are trying to subvert.
Yeah, because she has made comments about just because you think you're in your home with your own firearms that you've legally had doesn't mean we can't come in and see and check and do what we want. Fourth Amendment, anybody?
No.
Even if you haven't committed a crime, we can come and just see what you're doing. Unreasonable search and seizure. I like what Sir Glenn said. I have heard that she hits the sauce. I don't know for a fact, but I do know I have seen pictures of her where she does not look completely sober. We have seen her act in ways sometimes that were somewhat erratic and a little bizarre with some of the comments and statements she's made. So
Right.
I'm not going to, defame her. I don't know. But if I had to bet, yeah, I would say that she hits the sauce.
Right.
Sometimes. If
But
not, yeah.
we
No
were
offense. No offense. So does Pelosi, they say. So
Oh
does
my gosh.
Pelosi. They say she is really heavy with the sauce. They say Hillary might be too. I don't remember all the things we've heard about that. It has to, because you know what? You're in a position you don't belong in. You know that you haven't earned, not fully. You're not equipped for it. And you're kind of, in a sense, living a lie a little bit. Of course, one of the ways you're going to drown, that kind of insecurity is through some kind of external substance. I'm not surprised.
Oh yeah. And we had a lot of. I mean, there was a lot of cope, even like all around the world. In Mexico, the presidenta,
Who don't start?
Sheinbaum, that she was, not still waiting. She was still waiting.
Nosotros vamos a esperar
We're
el día
gonna
de
wait.
hoy a que termine en algunos estados de
That we're gonna wait until some of the states come in. It's like, we did send some ballots over. I'm just paraphrasing.
contarse y ya el comunicado oficial.
So we can do the official
Vamos
communication.
a esperar todavía el día de hoy.
We're gonna wait.
So you say she's not for Trump? She's not for Trump?
Oh heck no! That's what everybody's saying. It's like, oh, she's right. What the heck, right wing? These people are the leftists of the left. This lady is like, I mean, Mexico, a Catholic country, and she has like some kind of witchcraft rituals and stuff like that on there. It's like insane. And she's like, yeah, I'm not buying it. We send money out. I'm being facetious, but the face is like, we send money out, and it didn't happen. So, but it's all our fault. It's our fault. She's mad that the Latinos didn't get the message that they were supposed to. They were supposed to, but for us, it's all our fault. As her as a a Mexican from a Jewish Mexican from Norway. Her family's from Norway or something. She's displeased with us brownies, but there's so many people more displeased. I think I shared part of this with you, and this was I guess his name's Scarborough. I don't know. I just know that Al Sharpton, thin Al Sharpton looks like some kind of like
you don't like thin Al Sharpton?
Character. I don't know. I don't know if I could trust thin Al Sharpton.
You can't trust thin Al Sharpton.
Catch Sharpton with your eggs. But these people are going insane. So
they going insane?
MSNBC.
I just say really quickly too. Democrats need to be mature, and they need to be honest, and they need to say yes, there's misogyny. But
oh my gosh,
that's right. You got to be honest. There's misogyny.
You got to be honest. You got to be honest that Black and Latino men hate women. That's what you're saying. And you can get away with that.
Oh,
you can get away with that.
Let's hear him
That's
say
acceptable to say now in polite company. You're not a Black or Latino man. You can sit up there and say you guys hate women because you didn't vote for Kamala.
Mm-hmm. It's misogyny from Hispanic men. Right. It's misogyny from Black men.
What? I'm sorry. You guys should have run this man out on a rail. Run him out on a rail. You got to be kidding me. He says this. You guys sit up there with a straight face.
And look at thin Al Sharpton.
Look at thin Al Sharpton. He should have been. This is the man who cries racism and has led protests. And you let this white man sit up there and insult you and say that Black men, our culture, first of all, Black and Latino men do not hate women.
We love women.
I don't see that as part of the culture. Now they may not have the same, Tim Waltz dancing around, prancing around kind of way of, of acting. We don't, but that doesn't mean they hate women. I don't see that as part of as inbred. At least for blacks, I don't see that as inbred in the culture. So
No,
I don't know what
so
he's talking about. They have
no,
different
but it's
ideas about
misogyny.
the roles of men and women, perhaps, but I don't think that necessarily means there's some kind of hatred of women.
But
And he
wait,
sits up there, he gets away with saying that.
there's more
There's
because
more. Wait, there's
so
more.
so just like in the Hillary campaign, we're misogynists for not wanting Hillary, right? But this isn't new to us because we're misogynists now. But guess what else we are?
What?
Things we've all been talking about, who do not want a woman leading them. Might be race issues with Hispanics. They don't want a black woman as president of the United States. The Democratic Party, I've always found when you're sitting around talking, they love to just sort of balkanize everybody into these separate groups and say, oh, white people.
Isn't he putting people in groups as well?
I'm so annoyed. I mean, you know what? You guys. I'm gonna struggle here. I feel like
He's still on.
No, I gotta deal with that first. I feel like, you know what? I don't want to take up too much time, Fletcher. I know we have more to do, but the audacity of this privileged, disgusting man to sit up on TV and talk about people he doesn't know. I bet you he can't name 10 black people he knows personally other than people who came on his show. I bet 10 black or Latino men or women have never been to his home. To sit up there and say that black and Latino people are misogynist, meaning hating women, that's what that word means, and racist, what? Against Kamala? Because Hispanic men must not like black women, which we have to then also stipulate from his point of view that she is, when we already told you she's not. Let's listen to Janet Jackson. Let's listen to Candace Owens. She's not. She is when it's convenient, but whatever. That's not even irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Who cares? I mean, and get lectured by this doofus? Oh my goodness. I can't.
Right? I
can't.
It's almost like.
I said, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
Right?
I mean, honestly, Al Sharpton, you've lost your mojo if you don't get up and leave at that moment. You should have done a Hugh Hewitt. You should have been like, I'm out. I came on this show to have a conversation about the election, and you're up here insulting people on the basis of their race who you don't even know.
That's what I'm saying. You can't trust thin Al Sharpton.
Don't like women and black people. No, it is time for the Democrats to say, okay, and you and I have talked about this before. A lot of Hispanic voters have problems with black candidates.
Right.
A lot of
with other Hispanics. You got some that don't like each other. And some of the most misogynist things I've heard going on this Get Out the Vote tour came from black men. I mean, misogynist things. So you're absolutely right. It's not simplistic.
It's not
and we've got to
right.
have real honest conversations about it.
Real honest conversations. I just say, Rev, really quick.
So we're not only misogynists, we're racist. And
my word. I mean, I really hope that citizens, open-minded, of good faith, will please listen to this kind of nonsense and really see what's going on. And that's why they caused this election to go the way it did. I like how, Lady Jen is saying this, which is the absolute truth. We have moms, Latino and black men have moms. They've had women leading them. They didn't want Kamala Harris to lead them. That's the difference. It's a big difference. That's not saying they hate women. Why did you jump to that conclusion? They hate women. I mean, you got to be kidding me. A lot of the black communities, families are matriarchal, at least on the surface, at least. A lot of women lead men. That's not an issue. A lot of Latino men are fine with it. A lot of Latino men, first of all, are Catholic. And Catholicism, although it gets a bad rap, actually really elevates women, has throughout its whole history done so. One of the most revered saints in our whole panoply of saints is the Blessed Virgin Mary, which a lot of Latino men you will see have pictures of, hold up. She is, a leader. No one has a problem with that. It's not because they don't like women they didn't pick Kamala.
No, it's crazy. I mean, the gall to sit up there and says,
the unmitigated
you're calling
gall.
us racist and misogynist when I mean, I love my moms, I love you, I love, I mean, the Holy Blessed Virgin Mary. Not only that, but all the women saints and stuff that
Come
we pray
on.
to. I mean, you must be insane. And guess what? We come from countries that had female presidents.
Yeah.
Right?
That's the thing. A lot of Latinos come from countries that have already had female presidents. They're used to that. I want to see what Sir Glenn said about Black economist Glenn Lowry. I actually don't know Glenn Lowry or Lowry, and that he has rants about Al Sharpton. We're going to have to find one and maybe do that next time, because I'm not familiar with that economist, but I'm curious because Al Sharpton, man, he has lost the plot. You go from basically being an overzealous, and maybe I shouldn't say overzealous, just a zealous defender of Black rights, to sitting up there with this white guy talking about how Blacks and Latinos hate women, and that's why your favorite candidate didn't win. I mean, you lost the plot. You're right. Skinny Al Sharpton is not to be trusted.
No, Skinny Al Sharpton.
We don't trust Skinny Al Sharpton.
Don't trust Skinny Al Sharpton. And
we don't trust him.
These are some of the Black women.
Trump 2024!
Woo!
I'm so excited. It's a beat. I had to come outside and get some fresh air. We pushed that motherfucking Black vote while y'all sit up there talking about something. As we can see, more than half of America is racist. Refund that bullshit. A whole bunch of Black folks voted for Trump, bitch.
Okay, that's too funny. Play it again, Fletcher. I never saw it. You showed me stuff
Remember,
I never saw.
Black people can't be racist.
Come on, do this again. I need to see that again. You're making me happy right now. I get to hear that again.
Trump 2024! Let's go! I'm so excited. It's a beat. I had to come outside and get some fresh air. We pushed that motherfucking Black vote while y'all sit up there talking about something. As we can see, more than half of America is racist. Refund that bullshit. A whole bunch of Black folks voted for Trump, bitch. And remember, Black people can't be racist. That's what y'all say. Y'all sat up here and bashed the shit out of Black men. Now y'all big mad. We don't give a damn. Come on over here, my Black kings. We always accepted you over here, baby. Trump 2025.
Trump 2024. I like a outspoken Black woman. God bless her.
No, it was my aunties. All the Black men were out there also.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on, I got you. Yeah.
Where you at?
I ain't trying to hide. Come on, all right? What we doing? What we doing there? I am tired of y'all asses. With me once, goddammit.
Oh, y'all have to see this.
All right,
y'all need to watch the screen.
All right.
And that's the thing that people were saying.
So
is
funny.
like,
did you guys see that? We should explain it just because maybe some people are listening and they're not watching. That's how I sometimes listen to podcasts. So what we just showed you is one of our Black brothers going to the voting polls, and he has a little caption on his TikTok or whatever saying, "This is how you vote for Trump in the hood." And he goes and he passes by people all saying like Kamala, 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 Harris Waltz, and giving them the high five, giving them the dap. Even on the way to the voting, he gets stopped by a petitioner talking about something on that side of things.
A poll
and
watcher.
Then he puts up his, his lapel and his hoodie so people can't see him. He's in the voting, and he goes all the way down Republican and said, "I'm tired of y'all. I'm gonna try something different." And then he comes out. It's like, "Yeah, we're gonna get her in there," telling the people at the poll who are all for Kamala and being vocal about it. We're not supposed to do at the polls. And like, "Yeah, we're gonna get her in there. And we saw he voted for Trump. I think that happens a lot.
No, and I think that's what happened in a lot of these races because
Yeah.
Trump didn't just win. He he won across the board, and also there was a lot of people voting red all the way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't. I even was like that. I mean, I usually for certain races you're like, hey, who's the best party? Sometimes sometimes there's common sense Democrats out there that will be like, hey, all right, maybe you're the best, or maybe a different an independent vote and stuff like that, because sometimes the rhinos are horrible, and sometimes the Democrats better than the rhino. But and this time around, it's like, yeah, you guys, there's a message that needs to be sent.
Yeah, the message.
And a lot of people got the message, and that's why a lot of these people with the polls were going nuts. They're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
something ain't right,
Something ain't
because yeah, you're like. Like he meets the poll worker at the beginning, right? He sees the poll worker at the beginning, and it's like, yeah, how are you voting? He's like, it's like, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, Kamala.
Oh
that's
yeah,
right.
Kamala. Yeah, we
Yeah,
get her
we
in
got
there.
you. We got you.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this.
Do that. See the poll worker, fellow black woman, and like, yeah. What we talking? Well, you know what we talking about. We gotta talk about Kamala, right?
Yeah. We get her in there.
We
I
gotta
just
get
love
her
it.
in
He
there.
makes me laugh so much because the way he said it, he was like, "I'm tired of y'all. Like, I am tired of y'all."
Yeah,
I think that's the message.
Kamala, right? Come on, my name. What we doing that?
We're gonna do it.
I am tired of y'all asses. Fool me once, goddammit.
He's like, fool me once. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Fool me
That's
once.
it. Fool me once. That's all.
That's a funny expression, by the way. For those who may not be familiar, we're not going to take it for granted that everyone knows all these expressions. There's an expression that says, you fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So it's like he's saying, fool me once, like, I was voting Democrat. I see what you guys are about. You're not going to fool me again. I'm voting for Trump. That's what he showed. I mean, it's astonishing. But you know what? Also, it shows you everybody who went out and voted. There was a kind of fatalism happening where people were like, "Oh, our vote doesn't count," and even some of the discussion about the possible cheating in the last election may have dissuaded some people. But you show that when people came out a lot, and I do think Blacks and Latinos, why they're upset with this liberal meltdown, Fletcher, is that our vote really counts when we can actually shift elections if a large number, and I would love it if what the elites have for us by importing tons of illegals to change elections and get them to vote and get them involved, that they might actually just not go the way you think. That's what's upsetting them. That's why they have to insult us and say, you guys hate women, you hate Black people, Hispanics, because they want to divide and conquer. Big. They've always done this. The elites have always done this. They have divided and conquered us so that we think that we're always at odds so we can't look up and see they're the ones doing a lot of the problems. That's not each other. And what if they do? What if we all change? That's what's scary to them, because seeing that many Black men leaving the Democrat plantation, as people say, having Hispanics not vote as you expect them to, wow, that's got to be frightening for them.
Yeah, because now you're in the thing. I mean, you're losing what you thought we were gonna lockstep with you, even though you don't care about us, because you're showing your true colors. Right. I mean, this is just like Reddit posts out there, and Reddit was going nuts. I mean, there was like people were all like, on the self-deletion watch and all this kind of stuff, and they were like, "This is just like, I know this will sound racist, but Latinos effing disgust me. Latino man's effing."
Yeah, that sounds racist because that is racist. Man. That's why. Yeah,
right. I know this will sound racist. Right.
I know it's gonna sound racist that that Latinos disgust me because they voted for Trump. Yeah, that is a problem. You do need to go seek help about that.
That could be considered racist, right? I mean,
maybe,
yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I don't. It's.
I like what Sir Glenn said. Fool me thrice, get an MRI. That's funny. Schedule me an MRI.
That is for sure.
Funny. That's funny
because
Yeah, that's what the blacks are saying. They're like, we're done with this stuff. We're gonna try something new. I just wish more did, but I think more did do it. I think we don't have the numbers on that because people are
I
not
keep
going to tell
telling you, it's
you.
because it's that other vote.
Yeah,
It's
I
that
think
other
it's
vote
more
that-
than we know. I actually think a lot of people left that plantation on this election, and they're not going to let you know. Because think about it, already the media we have seen is willing to lie and obfuscate. We already saw that. We can go way back with that. We can document that there's books on this. So why would it be in their best interest to tell you the truth that maybe 40% of black men actually voted for Trump? Why would they tell you that? They might keep it down to a reasonable sounding number when it might have been a whole sea change in what and how voting took place this year. I'm not convinced it wasn't higher.
Oh yeah. No, I mean,
I think he has a mandate. I think he does. That's what's scary for them. I think Trump basically are like, you know what, we're ready. Do what you want.
No, I mean,
and the elite's still thinking we don't care about groceries. We don't care about feeding
we don't
our
care
families.
about groceries. We don't care.
We don't care about
like
being
that.
able to eat well. They don't care about that. Oh, really?
I mean,
okay.
So you're like everybody's voting supposedly against their own interests, right?
Yeah,
so this hard thing, and I think the numbers are probably, because I don't know how. I don't trust this much of they put it on themselves for us not to trust them. But so according to them, white women voted 39% for Democrats. 59% of white men voted for Trump. And I think that part of they don't understand also that a lot of Latinos are considered white men.
That is true.
A lot of Hispanics are considered white men.
That is true.
That's the little shock that we come in all different sizes and colors, son. But then there's this little line over here that people don't get. That's a pretty big line. Also, it's not the in between, the other. It's in there. The white women voted 47% for Harris and 52% for Trump. So where was the women all sticking lockstep together?
Right.
I mean, but then the shock to them are the black men.
Yeah.
78% voted Democrat and 20% voted Republican. But the real shock was the so-called Latino men. I think they should also talk about the Latino women because their Latino women also voted 37% for way more than the black women. Black women at 7%. Where are you guys at?
That's what I'm upset about. Where we at?
But I do think that you are in the 40. You're because a lot of black Latino women sometimes go for Latino and also other races, because don't forget West Indies, African, they won't put black women, right?
That's true.
So the 40 other races is 50% Democrat, 45% Republican, with the that little 5% in the other category. But we all know where the other category went on this one. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But they're like they can't control this narrative because they're shifting. Their whole narrative was these are all white, crazy racist men, right, in this movement. But anybody's gone through a Trump rally can see that everybody. I mean, the other day it was I think Lord Jamal. If you know like hip hop from the '90s, big in that time. And he sent a friend to document. He's got a podcast to document a Trump rally and a Harris rally. He got so much love at the Trump rally. He was like, "Hey, welcome," all this kind of stuff. At the Harris rally, he was like, whatever. But what really opened his eyes was when he was standing in line for the Trump event. the tolerant left was not so tolerant of him, even if he just was going to the event.
Isn't that something? I think that wakes a lot of people up. That was a very fascinating discussion. I recall part of that, Fletcher. It was really eye-opening. And it's so funny because I've had a relative say to me, Trump is a Yahtzee, he's for that, Bavarian mustache guy. That's what, have you ever seen one of their rallies? Yeah. I've seen their rallies. I've seen a lot of diversity there. But you see, liberals are obsessed with race and they're often wrong about it. Like we can see here in our comments. Where do they classify Asians in this? It's like they make them white. They classify North Africa as Caucasian on the census. They're completely all over the place. They're always trying to divide and classify us into things when, again, what matters to us is not just, it's more than skin deep,
Oh, yeah.
I agree with Jen too. Like a good thing about grocery inflation, I do eat less. Best diet ever. But a lot of us want to be able to choose that kind of thing.
Choose to fast.
And it's terrible because like that's all they want us fighting about, race, deletion of babies. They want to keep us, completely in the dark and at odds with each other. Good grief. Yeah, I think this is very, looking at this chart, it is very, very eye-opening. I mean, look what's happening right now. That's kind of important what's happening here. I do want to see Black women shift more. I'm disappointed. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that Black women, because they told this lie that Kamala's Black, right? Maybe they felt it would be somewhat
I don't think so.
disloyal. Is that what it is?
I think, Black women usually are loyal. Whoa, spoiler alert. It's not what the media tells you, right? Because the media paints Black women as ratchet and all this kind of stuff. And they only highlight, when people are doing something egregious in the Black community. But I do believe that there's a lot of Black women that I know that work for the government, and that's the work, right? I mean, the Republicans want to bring a little bit less government. I mean, the old Republicans like the Bushes, we're all for the big government. But the newer ones want to kind of like, less government, and you can't, vote yourself out of a job. But also I think,
okay.
Also is the whole idea that this is your party, right? This is my party. This is the party of everything that it stood for, my family members and all this kind of stuff. And this idea that, they're taking away your rights. In other words, they're very loyal and they listen to whatever the party tells them over the benefits of their family, because you do see that, a lot of communities are not really keeping their family together and stuff like that. So we kind of need, I think we need a resurgence of, Catholicism. There's a lot of Black Catholics out there. We need a little bit more of it. The pragmatizing in the community, I think it's really hurting us. But I just feel like, the air, anybody that watches the mainstream media has this, because it wasn't like all my Black women friends. I did see a lot of people that, like if you watch mainstream media, you had kind of almost the same talking points. Family members, all colors. But when people are more like on X, on other, sites, they're different. So I do think that it's kind of like, okay, we're gonna stick to this idea. But as you saw our sister earlier, it's not everybody,
No, it's not. And I think, what? I think you said a lot there, Fletcher. A lot of it was, really interesting and to be unpacked at maybe some point we can come back to it. I think Black women, for one thing, are more involved with government who have professional jobs. Yeah. They have seen the government, even when they don't have professional jobs, as kind of a support. You think about how vulnerable a lot of Black women are when they have men who feel that it's not their role to stay there and take care of children, they have to be on their own. And so they have to look to the government to help. So they're looking for more government because that seems to be, what they need. So I think the word needs to get out. And I don't think it's going to be too much. I think it makes sense that men are leading this. Women are going to probably be inspired by that when they see brothers, fathers, husbands, boyfriends, whomever, starting to get off the idea that you have to vote in lockstep with the left to be Black. And hopefully that we'll see more movement there. To be honest, 8% is not small.
No, it's not
8% is not small.
And like
Bye,
I said,
David.
I don't know how
Take care, Sir Glenn. He has to go.
Oh,
We appreciate
have
you
a good
coming
one,
by.
man. Thank you so
Thank
much
you for coming
hanging.
by. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. We
Say
appreciate that.
what's up,
It's nice
your
to have
aunt.
you, all of you who come. Have fun with
No.
your auntie. So, yeah, I mean, I think it'll take some time, but 8% it's not small. I think it may be 3% higher. I mean, be curious to know what it was before. I know there has been a
completely.
shift.
Yeah,
I think it
there
was
is a shift.
95% before. Now it's 92%. I think it
Yeah,
can
but
keep
this
happening.
is just the whole United States. Like you had sent me this. The exit poll in Georgia was that 25% of Black men in Georgia voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a big
So
number.
you do have
Big
like a
change.
shift. It's not only like one side, or you know what I mean.
Right.
You had a lot of places. I mean, he got Arizona and he had Nevada. So you're talking a lot of these places. I mean, when we saw the whole map the other time, you saw it's only little parts. But I think that blue collar people and people that are actually working are the ones who are the ones who are push this along.
Right.
I showed you this earlier, and excuse the language. And
This one's
this is a pun video, obviously. But I want you to check it out because I think this is how a lot of people feel.
I don't even think you fucking assholes realize what you did. Now because you elected Trump in office, I gotta go and spend fucking less for gas, less at groceries, have a savings account that my kids can actually be proud of. We could actually do something with it. I don't know, maybe like a vacation to Florida or something. Who knows? Now I gotta get used to strong, secure borders, no new wars. What kind of shit is that? Make America great again.
I mean,
that was so well done. The sarcasm level is
right?
unlocked.
The sarcasm level
it's
is just
so great. It's great
off the chart.
Facetiousness. Yeah, it's fantastic. At first, you think, okay, he's going to be, lambasting Trump. He's having a liberal meltdown, and then you're like, oh man, he's being funny. He's like, you don't know what you did. Now I got to spend less on gas. now I might have money for a vacation.
Right,
jerks.
Right.
And he ends it with "Make America Great Again," but apparently that's a fascist rallying cry.
Yeah.
So you can't say that. I mean, why? I mean, I know Fletcher professors who have made students take off MAGA shirts and hats because they consider that. I don't understand why you would think that everyone who wears it is somehow some kind of anti-freedom person. This is what he's saying. He's telling you what he believes. He's not saying, oh, now, good, we can have a white man in charge or whatever. He's saying I can spend less on groceries. I have more money for my kids. We might actually be able to go on a vacation, and we won't be brought up into more wars.
No, that's
oh yeah, you're a fascist. That's a fascist statement. Really?
He didn't bring up nothing about race. He didn't bring up anything about like, oh, we're gonna deport people and all that kind of stuff that supposedly all white people do.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this is the idea. These are real people, real folks that dude hanging out in the, telling everybody, yeah, Kamala, and then fool me. It's people
Fool
are
me
fed
once.
up. You're just now, I think, starting to see that maybe the narrative, and you saw like with Han Williams earlier that
we're calling him Han now, not Juan. He deserves that. He
I don't
deserves
know.
that. That comment that he made was
it's just ridiculous. These are the people. They're saying they can't buy eggs. You know, shoot, we're the people who are going like, you know what? Maybe $10 eggs are not such a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do feel like Trump was the one who was listening, and maybe they can, maybe people on the left can listen to that and actually,
maybe listen to the,
to what the people are saying to you.
But I do know that Biden did come out and say something. Imagine that, the shock of a president actually saying something. So I guess this was today. So I guess this will be both of us seeing this for the first time. So.
Good morning.
I think he voted Trump. I'm sorry. A lot of people have been saying that. A lot of people have been saying that. And you sent, I got this today, because I guess Joe Biden wore red.
Y'all, y'all need to think about this. This woman is not without a sense of symbolism. We have seen her be symbolic. I mean, come on, you're wearing an entirely red suit to go vote on election day. She is telling you something. She voted for Trump. There's no love lost between Kamala and Jill Biden. Apparently, they do not get along. Apparently, Jill Biden does not care for Kamala. She feels that, well, first of all, apparently, Kamala Harris, when she ran for president before, made some kind of negative comments about Joe Biden, and that she talked about him being a racist. And, Jill didn't care. Dr. Jill, she's a doctor. She goes by Jill. She has a PhD, I think, in education. It's a little bit sus when people call themselves doctor when they have PhDs in education. But whatever. No offense to my doctors with PhDs in education or any other subject. We'll call you Dr. Jill. So Dr. Jill does not like Kamala Harris. And I'm sorry, this is very pointed. She wore a red suit to go vote. Everybody knows it's a sign. That's a nice suit, by the way. I usually don't like her clothes. I don't like her outfits, but I like this one. And not just because it's red. It actually fits her very well. Sometimes I feel she doesn't wear clothes that really suit her, but this one does. Her hair looks good. The shoes are cute.
Right.
The jacket is nice. That's the irony too. She's trying to make a point and wears a red suit on election day. All red. I mean, you can't miss it. Not like one red shirt or one pair of red pants or one red jacket. No. Girlfriend was like, I'm gonna make sure you see deep color crimson. Yes. She's letting you know. And you know what? They say that Joe Biden definitely did not care for her. They did. They kind of undertook a coup.
Oh yeah.
And she
even
wanted
having her as
a
vice president, I think.
I don't think they cared for her.
Yeah,
they don't care for her.
She
wore red.
Mark Brandon says.
Good morning. Good morning.
She's just missing the ball cap. That's true.
Thank you. Good to see this cabinet and the staff together. Thank you. Thank you. Please.
What the heck was with all the applause?
Yeah. It's good to see you all. Particularly good to see my granddaughter sitting in the front row here. Effian, how are you, honey? For over 200 years, America has carried on the greatest experiment in self-government in the history of the world. That's not hyperbole. That's a fact.
That's a fact, Jack.
For the people. The people choose their own leaders, and they do it peacefully. And we're in a democracy. The will of the people always prevails. Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. And I assured him
that I voted for him.
Right. Work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve. Yesterday, I also spoke with Vice President Harris. She's been a partner and a public servant. She ran an inspiring campaign, and everyone got to see something that I learned early on to respect so much, her character. She has a backbone like a ramrod. She has great character, true character. She gave her whole heart and effort. She and her entire team should be proud of the campaign they ran. You know, the struggle for the soul of America, since our very founding, has always been an ongoing debate and still vital today. I know for some people, it's a time for victory, to state the obvious. For others, it's a time of loss. Campaigns are contests of competing visions.
Just acting a backbone like a what? I think he said a backbone like a ramrod. Does that sound like what he said, Fletcher? I don't know. A backbone like a what?
A backbone like a ramrod?
Yeah, he said Kamala has a backbone like a something.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think
she
has a backbone like a jellyfish because she flip flops a lot. But he says like a okay, yeah, go back. We'll try to figure out what he said.
For over 200 years, America has carried on the greatest experiment in self-government in the history of the world. That's not hyperbole, that's a fact. For the people vote and choose their own leaders, and they do it peacefully. And we're in a democracy. The will of the people always prevails. Yesterday, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. And I assured him that I would direct my entire administration to work with his team to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition. That's what the American people deserve. Yesterday, I also spoke with Vice President Harris. She's been a partner and a public servant. She ran an inspiring campaign, and everyone got to see something that I learned early on to respect so much, her character. She has a backbone like a ramrod. She has great character.
I think that's what he said. A backbone like a ramrod. Whatever that really means.
Like a ramrod. Okay.
True character. She gave her whole heart and effort. And she and her entire team should be proud of the campaign they ran.
Okay, I looked up ramrod.
Yeah.
A ramrod is a rod used to force the charge into a muzzle-loading firearm, which also known as a rod to clean the barrel of a firearm. It means someone who's usually harsh, overseer, disciplinarian. She is, thanks, Lady Jen. Yes, ramrod used to force the charge into a muzzle-loading firearm, which is hilarious when she is actually very, very much against firearms, although she did say she owns one.
So this is another like little coded thing or something.
I wonder.
Right?
I wonder who wrote the speech.
I guess he said the same thing about Obama also.
That's a weird backhanded compliment. It's true.
Very weird.
It's a weird backhanded compliment. What the heck are you talking about?
Always been an ongoing
oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Debate is still vital today. I know for some people, it's a time for victory, to state the obvious. For others, it's a time of loss. Campaigns are contests of competing visions. The country chooses one or the other. We accept the choice the country made. I've said many times, you can't love your country only when you win. You can't love your neighbor only when you agree. Something I hope we can do no matter who you voted for. You see each other not as adversaries.
That's another the noise. Sorry, guys. The noise is actually coming from I think the reporters' cameras.
Gotcha.
It's not me. It's not me.
I hear you.
As fellow Americans, bring down the temperature. I also hope we can lay to rest the question about the integrity of the American electoral system. It is honest, it is fair, and it is transparent.
Oh, now.
And it can be trusted, win or lose. I also hope we can restore the respect for all our election workers who busted their necks and took risks at the outset. We should thank them. Thank them for staffing voting sites, counting the votes, protecting the very integrity of the election. Many of them are volunteers who do it simply out of love for their country. And as they did their duty as citizens, I will do my duty as president. I'll fulfill my oath, and I will honor the Constitution. On January 20th, we'll have a peaceful transfer of power here in America. To all our incredible staff, supporters, cabinet members, all the people who've been hanging out with me for the last 4 years, God love you, as my mother would say. Thank you so much. You put so much into the past 4 years. I know it's a difficult time. You're hurting. I hear you and I see you. Don't forget all that we accomplished. It's been an historic presidency. Not because I'm president, because what we've done, what you've done. The presidency of all Americans. Much of the work we've done is already being felt by the American people. The vast majority of it will not be felt over the next 10 years. We have legislation we passed. It's just only now.
So in other words, he's bragging about what he did wrong.
Yeah, I guess he's
what they're saying is, oh, we've accomplished. Think about all that we have caused in terms of the destruction of America these past 4 years. You know, look what we've done. Right.
No.
All-time high deficits, all-time high number of undocumented people wreaking havoc in some of the cities, causing a lot of social unrest and economic depletion. Look at what we've done.
Look at what we've done.
We can hold on to that.
Gosh. Just
historic. Yeah, historic, but not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
Not in the way I think you might mean.
Yeah. It's just well, at least you know, he's not calling out for people to be out there on the streets. Those are his fellow representatives, like Eric Sidwell, who's not going quietly. You're not either. Let's get loud. Let's get going.
You know what's offensive about this? Can I just say?
Yes, please.
This is not about Trump. This is about us. So when they do this kind of thing, you have to ask yourself, what's the target? Who is the target? So people voted in an election, which is their right. They selected one of two legal candidates, one of whom won. Then you decide that you're going to riot. And as a representative of this great country, saying you're not going away quietly, you are taking war against those of us, more than half of us, who chose Trump. This is not against Trump. This is against us. You're taking issue with what we did. That's insanely offensive. It's different if you say did a riot, like even Black Lives Matter, which I'm not supporting. But at least on the face of it, I think there's more to it than what they say. But on the face of it, they're saying they're protesting one particular agency of government, right? They're saying we don't like the police or whatever. In this case, they're saying we don't like the people. I mean, can you see that? That's very chilling.
No. Yeah.
You're saying you take issue with your fellow citizens. You're saying they suck.
Right.
How dare you?
Yeah, and I love how they got these posters done so quickly.
They suck lemons, is what you're saying. You guys are the ones sucking lemons.
And
grow up. People chose differently than you. And the Trump era. It's not about Trump. It's about us getting to choose who we want to put in office.
But this is the thing I don't understand. He's not even in the presidency yet.
Yeah. He's not.
The Trump era, he's not even he's not the president right now.
No.
How do you end the Trump era that hasn't even begun? Right?
And when he has been the target of various prosecutions of, mostly, contrived situations and with little merit, clearly politically motivated. Most people think that. Most people of good faith think that. Have done surveys. People think, yes, you're just turning against your enemies once you're in office. That's what people think. And they do think that because there's good reason to think that. And yet it's a Trump era. This man has been the target of 2 assassination attempts.
No.
What are you talking about? You're acting like he's some kind of czar or like supreme leader. This man is, hustling. He's not. There's no Trump era. What there is are people who are taking back their country, doing what they think is going to put it in the right direction. And you take issue with those people. And you should be ashamed of yourself. By the way, I think most of these
This
people are
was last
paid.
night in Chicago. Oh yeah,
I think look at the professional signs. They got all these signs together
handmade signs?
overnight. No handmade signs. Look at these signs. This is all paid for. We're not going to say who paid for it.
That's the thing that they don't understand. We see through this already.
This
is
is garbage.
not what we thought.
These are
we
elites.
at first thought all this stuff was like organized and all stuff. Heck no.
It's not organized.
These people are rich.
No, it is organized. It is organized, but it's not organized by people on the ground. This is somebody from top up who are trying to cause more social unrest and chaos.
No,
because that's what they're all about.
Oh no, it's completely, and the attacks keep coming. They're still trying to attack. So this is New York Attorney General Letitia James vows to continue to go after President Trump for another 4 years.
And
we did not expect this result. We used
God
this
hates
rule of law
that.
to
He
fight
hates
back.
revenge. That's what it's revenge. We did not expect this result. They thought they were going to lose. So you're doing this. You're saying you're doing this because you want to affect the political outcome of the people.
Isn't that election interference?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This woman is way an abuser of her power. Disgusting. I don't like that for anybody. And I honestly, you know what? I wouldn't like it if it was against Kamala. You should not be using your office to wreak certain kinds of political control from the people, to wrest it from the people. Who are you to do that? Who are you to do that? Stop making our country into a banana republic. Okay, that's how those administrations act. Grow the heck up. You're telling me in the state of New York, you don't have a lot of other criminals to go after?
No other criminals.
To pick the soon to be sitting president of the United States for some bull crap that most people can't even articulate to you what he did wrong. Of course, all the leftists will cry that it was sexual assault. It was this, but he was never convicted of any of that. He was never convicted of anything. They say, oh, he's a convicted felon. For people who want to know, look up what Alan Dershowitz said. He's not convicted until he's been sentenced. He hasn't been. So no, he's not. He's not a convicted felon. And even so was Martin Luther King, in case you want to know.
Care that? You want
and other people who had political issues.
Malcolm X. I mean, hey.
Yeah, Malcolm X. A lot of people that we admire.
Muhammad Gandhi. Nelson Mandela.
People. Yeah, Nelson Mandela was in prison for 20 years, also for political reasons. Yes.
Right? So I don't know.
But we are prepared to respond to this result.
We're
really? So they're prepared to respond to this result.
Right.
We're going to get you people who put him in office. We're going to put your choice in prison because we're prepared to respond to the result that we didn't like. She's saying what she is. And look at that ugly mug. Just a nasty person.
What you like Glenn said, she probably keeps a dirty house.
And that dirty house is in the soul, is her soul. That's the biggest dirty house right there, is her soul.
Preparing for several months because we've been here before. We faced this challenge before. And we use the rule of law to fight back. And we are prepared to fight back once again.
How?
Because as the Attorney General of this great state, it is my job to protect and defend the rights of New Yorkers.
But you haven't been doing that. You haven't been protecting New Yorkers' lawlessness right now.
Yeah,
there's people out because this is the reason you don't have any law. But all of a sudden you care about the law?
And the rule of law. And I will not shrink from that responsibility.
Disgusting.
It's just, man, the meltdown, there were so many people melting down. I mean,
are you serious?
Yes.
I don't know what I'm looking at. No, go back. I need to see that. What is this demonic exhibition
There's
we have
so
here?
many we
This
can't.
manifestation. That's real?
Somebody set up a video and did
my
this.
gosh.
They're just going nuts. My boyfriend in the living room watching the results, and I'm crying in the bathroom.
Oh
It's
my
like,
gosh.
I really don't want a woman in office that bad. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Oh. Poor dog is trying to console this one.
I've never seen such nonsense.
It's like, you're a grown man.
Like, is anyone else completely... I don't know.
But if you're a black man or a black woman and you voted for Trump, and Lord forbid, Trump actually ends up winning, God forbid it. God forbid it.
She's using the Lord's name in vain.
She's using
This
the
black
Lord's
woman
name
needs to
in
be
vain.
very careful. She's setting herself up for a very bad situation. Have the nerve to use my Lord's name in vain and saying, God forbid Trump being a winner, or if you voted for Trump, Lord forbid. You know what? You are stepping outside of your authority. That is a sin against the Holy Spirit. Who do you think you are?
This is the life you wanted. This is the
You don't get to
story you
say
wanted.
that. I don't
This is
see
what
that
you
God
wanted.
has made you any kind of prophet.
Yeah. It's
Sorry.
just
Go away.
But the one that I wasn't expecting
Disgusting. If you were a black woman, like, so you know what? I'm gonna say this as a Catholic, I'm sorry, which is the only true religion. We have a truth about this. You don't put your race or your gender above God. Okay. We are not, that's not how we roll. We don't, that's not how we roll.
and we used to have fear about that.
Okay, that's how the God says in the Bible. Okay, we have a Bible. It says there is neither Jew nor Greek. We are first and foremost belonging to God. That's what we look at. We don't just look at our religion. I mean, excuse me, our faith. We put our faith before our religion. I mean, our faith before our color. And I agree with Lady Jen. You're filming yourself having a meltdown. That is extremely narcissistic and very, very passive aggressive. That is kind of crazy.
Right? Who does that?
Who does that?
It's
You're
like, you're
filming
gonna see me
yourself
upset.
out of control. You're gonna see me upset. Yeah, because we need to see that. Go away from that crazy black lady who doesn't have the Lord in her heart and doesn't know truth from false.
It's just,
This is
just woke
crazy
up
right
and
now.
saw the results.
You're right, though. She's right. This is a psychological phenomenon. You're filming yourself. There in the past, people would hide when they felt really low and down. But you think there's somehow something meaningful to somebody else seeing you have, a meltdown. That's insane. That's kind of crazy.
It's just,
Wow, you're right.
Pray.
That's true. That's true. That's so true.
Yeah, it's like, my girlfriend. I mean, it's like.
What do you say about his girlfriend?
No, she's saying, like, your girlfriend's sleeping, knowing she's gonna be crushed.
And you know what's funny? Because they live in such a bubble. They didn't expect that this could possibly happen because they only read CNN. They only read MSNBC. And so they think they don't have an idea that it's a possibility.
No, right. This is shocking. How can this even happen? It doesn't make any sense.
Because they listen to what they're told.
Right.
They don't think about the fact that you're not the center of the universe. There's other people who think differently.
Right. My parents keep sending me money, so the world is okay. So I don't know what,
And that last one saying the energy doesn't match the results. What are you even talking about? Kamala was the most low energy candidate ever. Hardly anyone was at these rallies. You could see that. President Trump, you could see that. He filled Madison Square Garden in New York, a couple of weeks before the election. What are you talking about energy? If you're going by energy, you should have been able to see this result. If you're looking at energy.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
What are you talking about?
Auntie Madame President. Yeah. She wasn't your auntie, bro. She wasn't your auntie. I mean, it's all like, and I have friends who have, nose piercings and stuff like that. So don't blame the people only with nose piercing, but it does seem like it's prevalent on this one. But yeah, the level of just narcissism. But there's another trend.
I
There's
love
a
the
trend.
narcissism here.
There's
I
a
love
different trend going on also that you might not know about this, Ursula.
I don't know
So
if
the other trend is
I'm ready
here.
for this, but okay.
Early celibate before. Wait until you see what women are like when they realize that having one of your babies could cost them their life. Oh, you definitely won't be getting any. And you know what? It's what you deserve. But now these women can focus on their careers. They can focus on their female friendships. You already hate the fact that there are rich aunties out there, child-free and happy. You just made even more of them. You
She's
said
so crazy.
but you didn't do that. You said there's no need. You can change the laws right here. Good luck with that because these women aren't risking it. But shout out to the child-free women who are really appreciating the life that they're living, where they're not with a man who thinks that everything that has to do with that child is your responsibility. You thought that you were really gonna stick it to women, but what you really did was you're gonna let them realize how amazing life is for some of them.
Did I lose something because I saw a whole lot of women voting for Trump? But now this is what people are saying.
We gotta analyze what this woman is saying. This woman is literally in need of therapy because she seems to think that by having children, you put your life at risk, which is not the case. Most women who have children, which we've been doing for, I don't know, millennia, don't die. I mean, it's not necessarily a case that, but actually deleting the baby actually has certain risks, as we have seen. And some of the people they were trotting out for their pro-deletion cause did die by doing that. That's the scandal that's not being reported. Some people do die trying to delete. So you know what? There's risks on either side. And now she's saying she's blaming men and not looking at being emotional, not looking at the facts. It's just she just shows signs of being unstable.
No, I mean, come on. I'm
you don't have words.
I don't
You're
have
speechless.
words. This is another
I don't have
one
words. You're right. That was just kind of insane what she was talking
There's
about.
more. There's more of this.
All I have to say is good luck getting laid.
It's not just a black woman. Guys, that's it. You had
Guess what? You know what's funny? You have young women who apparently are unmarried threatening men with being celibate. Girl, that's what you're supposed to be anyway. Close your legs.
That's what I'm saying.
You're not married. Stop deleting your babies and decide that the person you're having sex with, you might create new life and you might have to actually care for it. Maybe pick somebody who will hang in there and care for this new life with you.
So
as opposed to being with any Tom, Dick, and Harry who won't.
Maybe
so now it's funny. They're threatening. You're threatening. Don't threaten me with a good time. Yes, ladies, I would love to have you be celibate. I'd love for you to be more responsible about whom you're, making intimacy with.
Maybe
and they're up
pick
here
a man
talking
that
on TV,
you
being
love.
like, "Huh, good luck getting laid." That's why men don't take you seriously anyway.
It's
because
like,
you're
good
too
luck.
easy.
What is she even saying? It's like, good luck. So basically, if I'm understanding properly, because us dinosaurs, us religious dinosaurs who believe that we should cherish our women enough to wait for them, marry them, to be able to have a relationship with them in that sort of sense, to where the woman knows that no matter what happens to her, I have to be with her for the rest of my life, in sickness and in health, till death do you part, right? So she can be free to be herself, because knowing that there's no repercussion of being herself, because, we're bound together in the eyes of God, and she's just like, yeah, no more hookup culture. Did Trump just basically...
That's more winning, Fletcher.
Trump just basically...
winning.
Close
more
down
winning. Hoes out here being like, I'm gonna stop giving it up.
Yeah.
Good.
Right. It's like, how much winning is this? I can't take this much winning.
I can't take all this winning.
I can't take this
He
much
said
winning.
we couldn't take all this winning. I can't take all this winning.
It's just already.
He didn't get in office and women out
especially
here
in Florida,
like,
because me and my girlies are participating in the 4B movement. That's my next plan, and I'm dead.
What's the 4D?
I don't know what that is, Fletcher.
So So obviously
She's a cute girl. The other girl was a cute girl too.
They're both cute.
You know
girls.
what?
They're pretty
I
women.
love it. I love it. Cute girls who are not married saying we're not going to just be giving it up because Trump won. You know what? Awesome. Maybe you'll actually land husbands and have a happy life. Okay, and have a happy life, because unlike what Sister Girl said just now, most women are meant to be moms. There are exceptions. There's some women they really aren't, and they really do have careers that they really need to sacrifice that. Most women they so-called sacrifice for their careers, they're not careers. You're just an office drone. You're not doing anything really important that's really fulfilling or changes anyone's life. You would be happier just having a family. And that's the lie they told you. And she's all like, hands up to my childless women living their best lives, maybe, if they are good. But that's not necessarily the case. Most of y'all out here, may she rest in peace. There was a sad story right before the election. This very dear woman, she just looked like she had so many issues. She was a single mom, a Black young woman, and just 33 years old. And she jumped off, at Niagara Falls with her 2 children. One was an infant of like 5 months. The other one was like 9 years old. She threw them over. This video, don't go looking for it because you're not going to want to see that. And honestly, the kind of stuff she wrote on her social media before she did that literally showed that she was really depressed, stressed out, and feeling rejected by the men she had her 2 children with, because she said something along the lines of, it'd be nice to have somebody to love you and accept you. Kind of what you just said, Fletcher, which, that is what marriage is supposed to be. That's why, God set this up, that you would marry and then have your children so that people make commitments to each other. Not saying it always works out perfectly. Life is not perfect, but it's more likely the case. And the leftists love to tell this lie that 1 in 2 marriages ends in divorce. That's actually not true. There's a really good book I think it's called Why Marriage Matters. It's an older book in which the research showed that in fact, that is not the case. First-time marriages, people who are marrying for the first time, have a very high, over 80%, at least over 70 or 75% of staying together rate. They do. And the rate goes up even higher if they didn't live together before marriage. If they didn't try playing house, the rate goes up even higher. And check this out. If they don't use birth control, it goes up even to like 90%. Like first time marriages will last until they're, till death do we part. The high number of divorces is usually among people who have had a shot at it and failed and didn't learn. So like second time and third time marriages, like, both spouses, have been married before. Those marriages, they are harder to work out. That's true. They are what contributes, because it's an average across all of them. When they do those statistics 1 and 2, they're including people who are marrying for the 6th, 7th time, as well as those who are just marrying for the first time. And that what brings it down, because those multiple marriages, they usually have some kind of issue. That's why they couldn't get together. Maybe there was drugs, infidelity, who knows, immaturity, psychological issues, could be many things, but they bring down the average. So the fact is, marriage makes a lot of people more prosperous. Studies have shown people who get married tend to have more disposable income, tend to be happier, tend to live longer, especially men. Okay, so good. You young women, this poor woman who threw herself over Niagara might have still been here, and her 2 little poor children, God bless, Rossman and Mecca, I think that's what their name, Roman, I think it was Roman and Mecca, would be maybe still here, but for her overwhelming sense of dejection and stress, because it's hard to raise children alone. It's not an easy task. It wasn't meant to be done alone. And it must feel horrible to give yourself to someone like that, have their children, and have them reject you and go on to other women, which, by the way, doesn't happen that much when men marry. There are exceptions. There are some people who are scoundrels and they never took it seriously. But most of the time, as the studies show, if you look at the true studies, you marry someone who's never been married before, you're probably going to be married for life if you came with the right attitude. And that's probably going to be much better for you than what these women are proposing before Trump, like just have sex with whomever, have kids with whomever, and so-called living your best life or having no kids, which, I mean, I didn't like JD Vance's comment about childless cat ladies. You know, I didn't care for it. I've forgiven him. I thought that was unnecessarily pejorative. He didn't need to say that, but you know, I have respect for him. I think he'll learn how to be more diplomatic, and maybe sometimes diplomacy is not called for. But a lot of those childless cat ladies are unhappy. So her so-called best life, that's not everybody. You're not all out here like Madame Curie, by the way, who had kids, or Madame Curie, you know, solving, you know, radium puzzles or something like that. Most of them are just, you know, by themselves on a Saturday night, you know, aging without anyone to share their lives with. So she's just, look, I love it. I hope they keep to this. She says she's dead serious. Please be dead serious. Yes, please do not share all your goodies and cookies, you know, for the next 20 years until nobody wants them anymore. Just,
That's
you know,
messed up.
pick somebody. No, I'm serious. You know, hey, it's life, but pick somebody that, you know, you can tolerate and can love, and likewise, and stop looking at Hollywood for ideas about romance, because that's what they get women on too. They have this idea that Hugh Grant's going to meet them in a library on a rainy day. And that's how sometimes the guy that's for you is not, you know, looking like Hugh Grant. You know, he may be, you know, more, you know, normal looking.
No,
You know,
that's not.
And by the way, Hugh Grant's not a prize, FYI.
Are you kidding?
I wouldn't pick him.
You're not supposed to listen to celebrities. I mean, they're basically, you know, they're living their best life ever, and they obviously know what you're thinking about. I mean, we should hear from them. I mean, let's look at some of these. Like, so Oprah's worth $3 billion, Taylor Swift's $1.6 billion, Tyler Perry $1.4 billion. Billions, Springsteen billions, Schwarzenegger billions, poor Beyonce only 800 million, George Clooney 500. You know, the poor paupers. You know, and these are the people telling you that, you know, how dare you?
We should vote for Kamala.
How
and the
dare
price
you?
of eggs don't matter.
The price of X doesn't matter, and don't care what you guys say. But there was a lot of celebration. There was a lot of celebration. People were pumped. People were happy. I mean, it was just crazy.
They say they mad Trump won. They say why you vote against your interests? You're black. Why'd you vote against your interests? No. Look, word to my mama, right hand to the stand. I'm raising up my son to be a boy to a man. Oh, that's transphobic. They gonna say they feelings hurt. But I can't tell my son that it's cool to rock a skirt. That's facts. And then they
What?
Sister spitting.
I mean, everybody was out. This is like, you know.
Kamala, you're fired.
These boys got out there and
That's
were
hilarious.
dancing. It's
That's
like,
so
you know,
hilarious.
don't forget, these are the college campuses. I thought, you know, that's it. Everything was done. You know what I mean? There was the college campuses were not, you know, the kids were all for it, you know, and, you know, it's like, come on, man.
That's so funny.
I mean, they were like, they're not messing around, you know? People are out there, I mean, they're waking up their moms.
Hey, Mom, Trump's our president. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, God. Thank you. I've been up here praying and
How? I mean, these are the
white
horrible
supremacists,
people.
according
these
to
are the
them.
white
though.
supremacists
These are
out
white
there.
supremacists, though.
I don't
That's
know.
what they're
Let me
telling
ask you
us.
this: do you feel that she's worth $1 billion? You think that
Yeah,
house
maybe about that. 800 million, maybe.
800 million?
Yeah.
because these look like regular folks to me. These looks like they're just regular folks out there coming out there, you know. Feeling like, yeah, it's like walked outside into the smell of low interest rates and full grocery bags.
Oh, that's so cute. Walked outside
know?
to the smell of low interest rates and full grocery bags. Is that what he says? Bags? I
Yeah.
can't read the rest of that.
Full grocery buggies.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
It's
The
like
little
shopping
the
carts,
buggies for shopping. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That
feel like
sounds
that's yeah, you're right. Low interest rates and full grocery buggies. You know what? That is so true, Fletcher, because honestly, only during the Biden-Harris administration could I go to the supermarket on multiple occasions, spend $100
multiple. Yes,
and
thank
have multiple and come out with like one bag. $100, $150 sometimes, a bag and maybe a little part of it. That's what I got. You're like, what did I get? $100 used to get you like a good set of groceries. But now you got to spend like $200 to get what you normally have. People notice that. I love it. As my brother walked out to the smell of low interest rates and full grocery buggies. Yeah.
That's
I'm feeling that. I love his little dance.
Yeah, I mean, you had so many millionaires, so many billionaires backing Harris, and they're like, oh, it's for the people.
And
You
that's
know
what I
mean?
heard from my family too. They had the nerve to say because Trump is a millionaire or billionaire, they say, oh, he's for the rich. Oh, he's for rich people. And Kamala and Tim Walz, they're for the people. I think they purport to be for the people. You know, every statement Kamala would say would be like, I'm from the middle class, which we're not sure is true. And I think Waltz pretends, but what they actually do doesn't show that they're for the poor people. They're not for the regular people. I don't get that from them at all.
I don't get that at all.
No.
I mean, yeah, even like Musk says that far more billionaires back Harris than Trump, and she's raised almost 50% more money. I heard, so according to some people, she basically her campaign was like $1 billion.
Are you serious? She outspent Trump? Wow.
Oh, she totally outspent Trump. Like not even a little bit.
Are you serious? No, I did not know that. I thought they were pretty even. I didn't realize she really outspent him.
No, yeah. No,
wow, and still lost. Good.
I mean, you're talking about something that it's unprecedented because it was mostly a people campaign.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you had I mean, everybody that we know that were pushing for Trump, they were not billionaires, right?
Yeah, no.
I mean, so from the understanding is that on campaign cash, Harris spent $1 billion. Donald Trump spent $388 million.
Wow.
And I think for the majority of that was probably just hats.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I mean, even Biden really had a MAGA hat at one point, right?
Right. Well, Dart Brandon, right? But it's what this is the shocking part. You think you're on the party of hey, we're gonna do this. We're for the poor. We're for the working class. But all the billionaires, all the corporations. I mean, I think it was another chart, and it showed like the majority of corporations given to Trump versus to Harris, and it's like insane on the graph.
Interesting. Now, I heard a lot of these big celebrities and elitists did give her a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
But that just tells you, what did they want? Why their interests are not aligned with ours. So why do they care so much about her winning? What is it that they're getting out of it?
Right, and they're not they're out there sponsoring, they're out there pushing, they were out there campaigning. I mean, every campaign thing was a concert, right, for her. So I think a lot of people noticed, and basically they're saying, hey, they got wind of it that this is not the people's party that we thought it was. We kind of see now that it was you're the corporate. It was like the Scooby-Doo thing, you're like pull the thread, and it's like, I would have gotten
I
away
was
with
wondering
it.
what this Scooby-Doo reference was, Fletcher. I'm like, what are you talking about, Scooby-Doo?
Well, it's
oh,
like,
I see. You pull the mask away. You see, haha, it's
it's
Scooby.
all you working class folks.
Okay.
And some of those working class folks were the Amish.
That's amazing. That is amazing. For those who don't know, I mean, I think most people know who the Amish are, but the Amish are a religious sect of people that, among other things, well, they're devout Christians. And among other things, they do not believe that they should adapt to all of the modern technology and conveniences. So they do not, for example, use cars, not at all. It's not permitted. They don't use, say, washing machines and things of that nature. They tend to do everything like you might old fashioned. So they still use horses, they still plow, and they have farms mostly, and other kinds of traditional kinds of industries, sewing, what have you, canning, whatever. And they typically stay out of politics. They like to be just left alone. They tend to live in places like Pennsylvania, but there's some in Ohio and other places. If you've visited those areas, I have family in those areas, you might see them occasionally on their horses, and the women and men, they still are dressing like you might see people in the 18th century. So they will wear long petticoats and dresses. So even though we're in 2024, they will wear like suspenders, big hats. They look like Abraham Lincoln's time and earlier. That's how they're dressed, like long corsets and petticoats. And they came out for Trump, y'all. 185,000 new voter registrations from among the Amish. Did you hear that? 185,000 new voter
insane.
registrations. New. Some of them are registered to vote because some of them came out for Trump. A good number came out for Trump back in 2016, but they really came out for him in 2024.
Oh yeah. I mean, totally. And so-called battleground states. And
right,
people,
Ohio, Pennsylvania, where they live. Yeah.
And
I know why also, because some of you may have followed the story where this one Amish man, we might have covered it, Fletcher, some weeks ago, where he was selling raw milk, something he's done for, probably his family for generations and himself probably for years. And a government agency, we won't say names, one of these three-letter agencies came out, made him throw it out, because they said, oh, you're not regulated, you're not this, you're not that. I mean, honestly, something that no one has been harmed by. This is all to help out big farms.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we can't say certain things on the tube, but I'm just saying that's the reason they came out, because they all felt that he was bullied, and it was for big people.
It wasn't just him, he was. I mean, that's the one we saw. That's the one that somebody recorded it, but it was a lot of their farms that were getting hurt.
Yeah.
This ain't right. We had all this meat. We worked hard to get it in the freezer, process it, package it. The next day, they came with a search warrant, went through everything, house, every building in the barn. They just raided through everything. We can't touch it. We can't sell it. We can't feed our family. We can't give it away. Can't feed it to the dogs. We can't do anything with it. They just took it to the dump. You have to keep going because people are depending on this stuff as their medicine. I want this world to have the opportunity of finding real food.
So that's the thing. That wasn't just, you had milk, you had meat that was seized from them, because guess what? They grow it naturally. They don't put any chemicals. Nobody.
Right. What they want to poison us with, they don't use.
Let's relax.
All right.
Yeah,
I know I can't say what I want to say.
No, did say
the YouTube police.
Yeah, YouTube police. We'll figure out how to do Rumble exclusive, but For right now, let's just say that 3-letter agencies have been trying
Targeting
to
them.
target them for a while now, and they had enough. And when they had enough, they collectively had enough. Meaning,
They had
it
enough.
wasn't just one person. And how egregious is that? You're telling me that you're gonna take something. You don't really care about health. When you throw away meat, you can't even. They say can't even give it to the dogs. You
They
can't
couldn't
even
even
give it.
feed their
You can't
animals
even
with the meat.
feed their animals
They
with the
want to
meat.
have them watch it,
How
throw it
many
away.
people are poor? How many people didn't have meat? How many? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? This is
And it's
so
never caused a
crazy.
problem. There's no reason to consider the public health when they've never caused a problem. There's never been, you got E. coli every other week from friggin' Chipotle. I'm sorry. How many people got sick from Chipotle, McDonald's? They
No,
don't
you can
regulate
say
them.
stuff like that, but don't mention the words.
Okay. You got fast food out here not being regulated, but you go to the Amish for something they've been doing literally for generations, and people willingly go because they've never gotten any kind of problem. And you want to stop them and regulate them and make them throw out stuff because they don't comport to some ridiculous regulation.
And not only that, not only that. I think people forget that the Amish came out strongly to help people. This is Asheville Village in North Carolina, which was destroyed. Okay? The Amish came in because FEMA wasn't doing anything, right? Came in and helped a lot of. Look at the rebuilt.
Wow.
I mean, they have good craftsmanship. This is a
Wow.
village that the Amish helped repair. They brought in their work ethic, their amazing
And their Christian charity. They really do
Right.
care about the work of
Exactly.
God. They do these things because they care. The Amish became famous for a lot of people. I mean, if you grew up around the East Coast or have family there, you might have seen them and know a little bit about them. But a lot of people in the country and elsewhere who might be listening to us who don't know them, the Amish became famous maybe over a decade ago, maybe almost 2 decades ago, because an Amish girl had been killed and by someone outside the community, and it was a terrible crime, and it made it into all of the media. It was huge at the time. You can look it up. And what really surprised people is when the family and all of the community said, we forgive that person. We want to make a public statement of forgiving. And people were like, what? Why would you forgive them? They said, because we believe in Jesus. And he said, you must forgive your enemies. You must forgive them and pray for them. And I think it may have had a very, very strong effect on a lot of people in terms of understanding what the Christian faith is all about. So they became famous for that. A lot of people never knew who they were. Then they found out that they also don't believe in any of the modern technologies, which is maybe why they're targeted, because a lot of these, regulations by the 3-letter agencies do require, the introduction of things that are not natural. And so that's not them. And so here they are. I love your pictures, Fletcher. This is how they look. This is so we can see what I've been trying to explain. You see how they're dressed. The men have on black hats and long sleeve white shirts, dark black vests and pants. Little boys also wearing hats. So cute. The women have bonnets and like coarse cloth, dark colored dresses.
And they ride around the little buggies.
And they have little horse-drawn buggies, and they all have American flags with Trump signs on the way to the polls. That's really glorious. And the thing is, they mostly just want to be left alone. They're not very political, generally speaking. They just kind of want to just do their thing. They're waiting to go to heaven, and that's all they care about. But yeah, not when you go mess with them, they're gonna mess back. And I didn't know that they helped the people in North Carolina. That's really wonderful. That sounds just like they're living out. They're living out their true vocation. I love that. I love this. Well, Jebediah, they came after our milk. Exactly. It's a scandal. It's very much like Peanut and Fred. It's like, okay, so you have some regulation, but you don't see this need to make an exception here. These people have a rescue organization. They've kept these animals for several years without a problem. But you're going to come and send, drawn, officers out to get a squirrel and a raccoon. It's the same thing. These people have been on their farms for generations, producing milk, taking care of the community. People love their stuff. It's usually well priced and good quality. And then you're going to take issue with that?
Yeah. No, I mean the irony is not miss here that the people who embrace less technology, less media, meaning zero media, zero technology, are also not only came out to the polls to help and defend freedom, but also are out there in Carolinas just basically say, you know what I mean? It's Amish here building gulags. It's a joke, meaning they're out there building houses for people to be at. But the media will say it's the gulags and stuff like that, But
And
they
they're not
had
known to
enough.
be white supremacists. That's what's hilarious, because the statement is they hate women and they're white supremacists, and they're not known for any of that.
No, just because they're more of a ethno style religion, they just don't go out, right?
No, they just don't go out. I mean, they're
Yeah, they
not.
just stay within their area of influence. That's hey, there's tribes just like that. I mean, go anywhere in the world.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Are you Amish? Can I
Yeah.
ask? Awesome. And so the Amish are
The
gonna-
funny thing is, like, this dude asked, "Are you Amish?" I don't know. What gave it away?
What gave it away?
coming out to vote this year.
I don't know. The
some
long
of it-
beard.
What has caused so many of the Amish to register to vote this year?
Probably just they want to get out and vote and make a difference.
Yeah. Have you guys been affected this past 4 years underneath the Biden-Harris administration?
I would say definitely. Yeah.
And in what ways has the Amish community been affected?
One way is that with Trump, the Amish had, I would say, they had more freedom, and with the Biden administration, there was not. It started getting tighter and tighter. And
I mean, look at that. So, I mean, he's already better than a lot of the people interviewed for a lot of these things, because they're like saying, okay, with Trump, that's, it was better. And here's, they're tightening the noose around us, basically.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
no, for sure.
I mean,
He
what
shows
can
it.
you say to that? He's already has already explained it away.
I just heard yesterday that 180,000 Amish.
180,000 Amish.
I heard 185,000. Yep.
Yeah, it's just insane.
Registered to vote.
Now because of what happened last year. Some kind of someone Democrat went in and tried to shut down a guy's operation. He was doing like organic farming or something, and the billboard's actually in Pennsylvania Dutch. It's not even in English. It says to go out and vote.
Oh, really?
For Trump, yeah.
Vote.
What did he
for
say? You're
Trump.
gonna have to translate what this man said. What did he say?
Oh, so
Please
basically he's
translate
saying
what
that
he
it was
said.
that would happen, what you said in the farms, that they got attacked by the three-letter agencies, and I guess the Amish put out a sign in Pennsylvania Dutch out on the road, warning people that, you better go vote, because, they don't have phones.
That's
Right?
right. We were just talking about that. They don't. They don't
Yes,
communicate
they
like that.
don't
They don't believe
communicate
in
with
modern.
phones.
Yeah.
They don't believe in modern conveniences. So they, I guess one of them put up a sign, and they were like, "Yeah, not today, Diddy. Not today." And we would love to talk more about that part, but that's that might have to be a Rumble thing, because that whole what they were attacked for, it's really egregious.
Yeah, it is, and it's egregious that we can't talk about it here. But okay.
Right. But Trump's already making everything great.
Yeah, women starting to be actually selective about their sexual partners, and not just having sex with whomever, whenever. I love it. God bless him.
And
all right,
as-
that was a bit beyond the pale. I'm sorry. Whatever.
It's all right. It's all right. Trying to see that things are already looking up, because Target's already saying Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays. I mean, a lot of people seem to have gotten like a little bit of the memo that things might be changing, because already Hamas calls for immediate end to war after Trump election win. I mean, how insane is that? You're like basically saying
too much winning. I'm sick of winning.
Too much winning.
It's too much winning. I can't with all this winning.
It's so much winning. It's like
it's crazy amount of winning right now. Can't with that. Too much winning.
I'm telling you, it just feels like
because he knows that. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand people, but somehow my racism, my sexism. I'm not saying those issues don't matter because they do. I'm never going to say those issues don't matter. It's just that they are making more out of it for, their own purpose.
Oh yeah. No, I'm telling you, this has been crazy. But I mean, I can't with
immediate.
that.
That's kind of a big deal. He didn't even get in office and he's already affecting world events in a positive manner. That's
a positive manner, right?
Right. That's pretty impressive.
I'm speechless because it does feel like it's so much winning.
It is that's a lot of winning.
That's a lot of winning.
That's crazy winning right there.
What's just that? So the Amish kind of have some of the weirdest name for the towns. It's just intercourse and blue ball. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious because as a kid when you're always traveling, you do tend to take I always remember one because we crossed. We went from California to Nevada so much. We have family in California, and we always pass this town goes Z. So it was like easy, and I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, FEMA is fully incompetent. I mean, there's so many things, so many stories that I thought we could cover on that disaster, but the fact that people are already, it's just.
Yeah, FEMA is fully incompetent. They stopped people from trying to help who were helping because they want to occupy the field of helping, even if they can't do what they can, like what other people can do on the ground.
Yeah.
And don't have a plan and sometimes hinge their help on certain things. Neighbors helping neighbors is so much better. And I'm so happy to hear the Amish were helping in that effort. That is really cool.
Oh no, totally. And you were so it wasn't just thing. I guess you had told me this also. I guess the markets also kind of I guess there was an earning call. So the Commons and Tariff Risk an earning call. 40% reduction in China sourcing in 1 year. Sourcing more quickly due to Trump's win. Moving goods out of China due to tariff risks. So there's been a lot of movement. We had the Hamas. I guess you also had the Houthis spokesman. Also, Operation International Waters were purely defensive, and we announced its final cessation. So I guess some of the Arabs are gonna stop with the poking and prodding in the sea. So you're like saying, okay, let's hold up. That was not. We were just hanging out, but now we're gonna cease and desist doing that because that's not so cool. Then you got Putin going over there, says he takes Donald Trump's plan to end the war in Ukraine very seriously, and Russia supports it. I mean,
it's called leadership, and I think that's why the markets have responded. They did say the Dow was up. And Bitcoin went up like crazy because they think that his policies will actually positively impact the economy. And people, the market responds to that. People respond to that. And I mean, where are these celebrities when they see this? They don't see this, huh?
No.
We have world leaders making positive statements about ending wars, things that are harmful to humans and to human life. And I don't hear it. Where's Jimmy Kimmel now?
Yeah, where's Jimmy Kimmel? Where's Jimmy Kimmel that's end the wars that actually hurt people, not imaginary hurt, but actually hurt people all over the world, and the majority of them not white, right? Not white. And how about the Dow Jones? How about everybody helping out with just a whiff of Trump coming back, already everybody's like, hold up.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? That's amazing.
He just comes in and it's like he's looking at all the world leaders. He looks at the market, all the stuff that, was out there and doing wrong in the world, and he just comes and goes,
boom, roasted.
That's what he does. I mean, he's coming out here. He's taking names. Taking names. I mean, man,
that's
right.
Just
insane. That's so
yes,
great.
This is true. This is kind of Christmas coming early, that's for sure.
Yeah, whatever happened to Thanksgiving?
And Thanksgiving too. Yes, it's it's not something that we can expect to be a magical cure-all, but definitely it does seem like we kind of dodged a bullet with that administration. So I think people have your issues with Trump, but I think that just by what you just mentioned, Fletcher, it shows that unlike what the elitists have been saying, people did vote in their best interests.
Oh, yeah.
They did vote in their best interests.
They did vote in the best interest.
The smell of low interest rates in the morning. I love the smell of low interest rates in the morning.
That's what you have to do, yeah. But thank you so much for everybody for hanging out with us. Don't forget our charity of the week is supposed Beverly.
Of the month, Fletcher. You constantly say the week.
I constantly say the
week. We're going to keep
her
up for a while. Do remember that poor Bevelyn Beatty Williams, and I do pray that someone will bring her case to the attention of Trump, God willing, when he gets into office. Those of you who pray, please pray for Trump in advance. I'm sure people have been planning all kinds of things against them now that they are the president and vice president elect. But this young woman, mom and wife, and a Black woman was just literally praying and protesting the deletion of babies. And under the FACE Act, which was weaponized under the Biden administration to pretty much get revenge over the Dobbs decision, has been sent to federal prison for years with a zero criminal history, zero allegation of violence. And the charge was for unlawful assembly because she dared to say that it's wrong to do what you're doing. And, somebody's feelings were hurt. And there is a law that says you can't, block one of these places, but I don't think she was, based on what we have seen with other, gentle grandmothers who are literally in prison beside her during the last couple of years for praying the rosary, for being on their knees, for crying and praying outside of these deletion places. So please, if you remember, if you have anything left over to send something towards her support on Give, Send, Go, Bevelyn Beatty Williams, spelled the normal way, that would be great. Bevelyn, Bevelyn, but it's here on our chat.
Yeah, and also it'll be pinned to the comment section, so you can have it in.
That's how we win. That's how we continue to win. We look out for each other. Be like the Amish.
That's right. Never liked his shoes. I always felt like they were walking on flatwood, very uncomfortable shoes. We were extremely hard to break in.
Oh, Steve Madden's shoes. Yeah, that's right. Everybody went into that for a while. Every girl, woman, and child wanted some of those shoes. You know what? I also feel like that. I tried those shoes and they didn't really fit my feet either. And they were extremely expensive.
Yeah, I don't know. They do make the men's shoes as well, and I never got into that. I mean, my dress shoes were always kind of a little too on the
Fletcher,
traditional
you
side.
You think nice flip-flops are dress shoes. Let's be
That
real.
is true. Well, they are. I have fancy flip-flops.
We're not gonna go by Fletcher's fashion.
When I was
here.
hanging out, when I was in Africa, they even get me like king sandals. Fancy flip-flops with gold in it.
On that note,
thank you.
Up.
Everybody, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. And please continue to pray for us as we continue to pray for you.
And listen, when we say prayer, that's really important. I hope people do see the power of prayer, regardless of your denomination. We here are Catholic. We support that faith. And that's what we propose. We propose everyone to trust Jesus in his true church. However, whatever you do, because listen, it works. I think in that last rally Trump had in which he talked about having his life spared by God. That's what he believed happened. And for a time as this, tells me there is some power to prayer. That's why he won. Honestly, I do think so. Even with all the potential rigging, as they say, made it too big to rig. So those of you, please consider offering up.
Oh, I think we're having like flexing. But I think what Ursula's trying to say that please offer up a pray for you. And yeah, that'll be awesome. Thank you so much. And we will see you in the next one.
Ave Maria, Maria, rogai por nós, Santa Mãe de Deus.